Reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has fielded questions from a Senate Appropriations Subcommittee about the $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund he has created to compensate those who believe they were targeted by the Biden administration. Blanche says the fund is not unprecedented because the Justice Department set up a similar fund under the Obama administration.
Something almost identical in structure to what we announced yesterday. In that case, there were allegations made by Native Americans that the Department of Agriculture had systematically treated them unfairly.
Vice President J.D. Vance is asked about President Trump's endorsement of Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton over incumbent Senator John Cornyn in next Tuesday's Republican primary runoff.
I've known John Cornyn for a long time, but unfortunately, when it really counted, Ken Paxton was there for the country, was there for the president, and that's why he ultimately earned the president's endorsement.
It's primary day in 6 states. In Kentucky, Republican Congressman Thomas Massie squares off against Trump-backed Ed Gulrine. CBS's Zach Hudak notes Massie pressed the White House for more transparency on the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Tom Massie worked together with a Democrat, with Ro Khanna of California, to push forth Epstein legislation at a time when the White House was still opposing the further release of those documents.
The number of people enrolled in the Affordable Care Act marketplace could drop by nearly 5 million this year. CBS's Allison Keyes.
The report finds that not only might enrollment drop by 20%, but those who are still in the program are paying deductibles that are an average of $1,000 higher than before. The drop is mostly due to the expiration of COVID-era subsidies on January 1st. Healthcare could be a big issue in this year's midterms.
The Trump administration again slapped sanctions on Cuba and several of its top political leaders. CBS's Christian Benavides reports.
Among the top Cuban officials hit by the new sanctions, the president of the National Assembly, as well as the ministers of Communications and Justice, and several people that are working for the armed forces. Now, the State Department said in a statement that the United States will continue to take action to counter the Cuban regime.
President Trump shows off the construction of the White House ballroom.
The entire roof is developed for military. They're very high. They're higher than just about anything else. They have a 360-degree vision of Washington, D.C.
The ballroom cost is $400 million in private donations, but Republicans in Congress are asking for $1 billion to pay for security upgrades. Stocks are down on Wall Street. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world.
I'm Tony.
There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers.
How are you?
I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
A Covington man accused of killing his wife appears in court. Details coming up, but first, your KIRO Newsradio traffic. Not a whole lot going on out there, which is good. South 405, though, is a little heavy coming out of Bothell through Totem Lake, about 160th to 124th, and then you'll clear out. Linwood to Bellevue, though, is at 35 minutes. That's about a 20-minute delay. Here in Seattle, nothing new. North 5, your usual scattered backups between the West Seattle Bridge and Ship Canal Bridge. Nothing too heavy, 15, 20 minutes max to get through downtown. South 5, you're slow from Northgate through the U District. Plan on about a 20-minute trip from Linwood into downtown. This report brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Nate Connors. The Covington man accused of staging a fake home invasion and then killing his wife earlier this month pleads not guilty to first-degree murder charges. KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas reports 41-year-old Kyle Cathcart appeared before a judge yesterday.
Documents obtained by KIRO 7 say he called 911 to say someone broke into his home and stabbed both him and his wife. But police say his story didn't add up, and he actually killed her. He was on the run for a couple of days before police arrested him. The judge setting his bail at $60 million. His trial is set to start in July.
Bullets struck a home in Seattle's Greenwood neighborhood, passing just inches from where a baby was sleeping Sunday morning. KIRO 7 TV's Madeline Audley reports.
Jake tells us his cameras captured the sound of gunfire 3 more times in the following 2 nights. Police confirmed one of those shootings to KIRO 7.
It's just last night I lost track. It was almost 20, I think.
Peter Orr oversees a block watch in the neighborhood. He found shell casings after a shooting earlier this month.
12 and 13. I try not to talk at length with my kids about it. I don't want them to freak out. I tell them, you're safe back here. Deep inside, I got to think we got to do something about this before I can't tell them that.
Peter and Jake tell us they believe the crime is a spillover effect of the sex trade along Aurora Avenue.
Washington is joining more than 20 states in suing the U.S. Department of Education over a rule they say illegally cuts off federal student loan access for key professional programs. The lawsuit argues the department rewrote Congress's definition of professional degree, excluding fields like nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and physical therapists. Attorney General Nick Brown warns the change could deepen the shortage in Washington's healthcare workforce. Seahawks wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba is calling out a trophy blunder. GSN won NFLPA's Offensive Player of the Year award in 2025, but when the trophy arrived, it was mislabeled.
No, I really want to expose them, though. It's getting disrespectful, guys. Defense, come on, bro.
He posted a video on social media showing the trophy labeled him as Defensive Player of the Year instead. The award also has a typo. The words "the year" are combined.
One word. Man.
In another post, Smith-Njigba included a photo of himself with a caption that read, "Just keep the award at this point. Leave it in the history books, though." Check out your KIRO News Radio weather. Mostly cloudy today, 65 this afternoon. Will gradually bring in more sun through the week and warmer temperatures. Mid-70s on Friday, 56 and cloudy in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome to the show. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there. Jake Skorheim sitting alongside Spike O'Neill. Happy Tuesday, Spike.
Happy Tuesday, brother. Good to see your face, man.
It's good to see your face. It's a nice face.
It's a good face.
That's a good face.
I love this show.
It is a fun job. It's a ridiculous job. Sit here, drink coffee all day. And
I hadn't realized.
Go to the bathroom on breaks.
It's great. They free coffee. I hadn't realized that there's a story we're going to cover in a moment or two that almost touched your life. It touched your life, but it almost really touched your life.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
DUI crash over the weekend. We'll talk about it just a minute. It was on Highway 9, but it's so stop driving drunk, people.
Yeah.
This is a scary
little
situation.
tease for you.
Yeah, but I was right there.
Unbelievable, bud.
Could have been a disaster for my family and I. Also, in just a little bit, we're going to talk with Chris Sullivan, who's got a piece on mynorthwest.com you guys should check out if you are at all concerned with the cost of toll roads, which, believe it or not, because I feel like we just had this conversation, they are discussing raising the cost to drive in those toll lanes yet again. It's already at a max 15.
That number they'll never get to might not be enough.
It sounds like it's not nearly enough, according to those who know. I think it's plenty, by the way. But we'll talk about that with him at 12:30, so tune in for that. We'll give you all the details on that. And then also, I got an article today. I'm going to crunch the numbers with you, Spike. Sound Transit is in a $35 billion hole.
Yeah.
They're saying.
Yeah.
They have spent, somewhere in the neighborhood of $25 billion so far. They're building out the ST3 project, yada, yada, yada. And eventually it's going to cost as much as like $185 billion. But to get there in 40 years or whenever they're supposed to finish, they still need $35 billion. And so I crunched the numbers and I said, hey, I can make a suggestion on how to fix all the problems.
Okay.
And it's actually kind of a wild suggestion, but I actually think it has merit.
Great.
I want to throw it at you. We'll crunch some of these numbers later in the show, and you can make a judgment on whether or not this is a good investment or not.
I love this. Sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
You can't see the road for the cars in front of you. I don't know what the analogy is.
No,
sometimes
that
a
works.
common sense solution can come from, who knows?
Common sense might come from, even a broken clock is right twice a day,
Right.
and that's what I want to be, at least right twice a day.
Aim high, buddy.
And you guys can get the article early, and you can read it and spread it and tell your friends about it. It actually is a really interesting idea.
Great. I'm looking forward.
And it asks kind of a crazy question right off the top. Hit us up at 888-973-5476, the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. Just text BUS to 888-973-5476. That's a little hint at the answer. It might be right in front of us. And we will talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, I think you're going to like this.
I love it.
Yeah, I think you're going to like it. All right, we're going to start off with some more details on that UW stabbing that was so horrible that we've been talking about for the last few days. The suspect, 31-year-old guy named Christopher Leahy, who has now been charged in the fatal stabbing of a 19-year-old UW student. Just a horrendous, I mean, I don't even want to talk about all the details of this crime because it's nightmarish.
It's horrific. It is the stuff of nightmares. As a parent who just had a kid graduate college, who spent the last 4 years living in a dorm in the city, the details of this story and the peripheral information that we've recovered. In fact, kudos to our own Luke Ducey.
Yeah, who's been on top of this.
He had the details of this horrific instance and the week plus or 2 weeks lead the incidents, multiple weeks prior.
That's the question that I'd like to discuss.
Yes.
Not the details of the crime, which are horrific. And if anybody wants to read about those, you can read about them at mynorthwest.com. What I'm wanting to know is, what is the university's responsibility when you have somebody who is identified as a suspicious person? So in this case, according to Luke Ducey, there were run-ins. Students recall run-ins with the suspect, allegedly, prior to this fatal stabbing incident. I'm going to read you a little bit from Luke's piece, and then I'd love to talk with you about this. KIRO News Radio heard from UW students about a separate incident in which a man matching the suspect's description was found inside a university dorm. A student said the man followed another female into the dorm, and a resident assistant working at the dorm told him to leave, according to the student. In a text message to friends, another student warned, quote, "Please be careful. He was following one of my friends around a week before the girl died." End quote. Now, you're talking about a suspect who, in this case, if it is the same guy, and it sure looks like it from the pictures that we've seen, makes his way into a student's dorm. Now, the murder in this case that happened was in the laundry facility of one of the UW off-campus
student housing.
Student housing dorms.
Yes.
So it's a UW responsibility. I'll keep that, make sure
it's
it's
my
safe,
understanding
secure.
that UW enters into agreements with property owners to provide student housing.
Yeah.
And with that comes responsibility to the student body, because that's the agreement you reach with the university. You're going to provide certain security elements of this housing opportunity.
Yes.
Because a parent who sends their kid to the U is investing in not just the education, but the culture and the community that it takes to get a kid through college.
Kids care about what the college experience is going to be like, if it's fun, what kind of studies they have. I mean, like for me, when I was choosing colleges, obviously I went to Hawaii, so you can figure out where my priorities were.
Yeah.
I wasn't really thinking.
The public transportation.
It was the public transportation. Yeah, that was it.
Got it.
I was thinking more about proximity to beach.
Sure.
Than I was thinking about education results, and they're fine on education. But parents are thinking about...
How do you say that in Latin, by the way? We're fine on education. That's the school motto?
In fine, something.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Obviously, you can tell. Asked and answered.
There you go.
So, as a parent, I would think, and you just went through this, I would think that a big consideration for parents would be, all right, where is my child going to be living? Where are they going to be studying? How safe is the city that they want to study in? Sending your kid off to... downtown Manhattan, downtown New York somewhere versus UNC Chapel Hill, those are two very different equations.
Worlds away. My oldest went to school first off, looked in New York City at a school and then looked in Los Angeles. Downtown, I mean, literally Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
At a school. So that was a paramount concern to us, was security.
Yep. That's where my wife went in LA.
And my youngest just graduated from Cornish, which is in downtown Seattle, and the campus is all proximity within the dorm. It was all, never needed any kind of transportation until Seattle U jumped in, but that's different. But the area around it and the surveillance capabilities, the security capabilities of the campus was paramount.
Gave you
in
comfort.
Our decision. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the education's one thing. This is I would almost put out there that the educational factor of a decision is almost secondary to my kid's safety. I'm not going to send my kid into a dangerous situation because the school's rated the best for return on investment, yada, yada, yada.
Well, they're not going to have a high rating if the students don't feel safe there.
Exactly. And the parents aren't going to send
And the
kids.
parents are not going to pay a premium to send their kids to a school that's not safe.
It's a reasonable expectation that your kids is provided with a safe learning environment.
So my question for UW is, if you have, in this case, you have an RA who literally had to get in between this guy, if it's the same guy, in a dorm room and tell him to leave. Now, that RA, I know from experience because I was an RA, every time that you receive a call, every time that you have to do something on behalf of students, There's phone records that are kept. There's logbooks that are kept. You have to report these incidents to a superior, especially. So when I was an RA in Hawaii, we used to have to get back to campus 2 weeks early, and you would do 2 weeks of training to do things like, how do you help people decide how to argue over milk or stupid things.
There's an orientation training process for an RA because there are responsibilities that come with it.
And it was taught by campus authority, local campus police. You would also be, in our case, we were interacting with Honolulu Police Department. They would teach you how to do these things and also how to make sure you're reporting it. Because if something is, if you have a suspicious person on campus, there's a protocol that you follow. So that message could then be disseminated out to other students. And my question is, in this day and age, where we have so many stories, look at the story happening right now in that deadly mosque attack, which was awful. People died. Somebody came onto campus, 2 people came onto campus, and people were shot and killed. You need to get that information out quickly. And I'm wondering with this guy, where did that stop up the chain of command? It starts with an RA. It then makes it to whoever the RA's boss is.
University Police Department.
University Police.
Who then would, I would think, share with Seattle Police Department.
I would think.
I would think so, too. I think it'd be required. Not just a good idea.
Why is it a student whose job it is? A student texts other friends, a text message to friends, Luke's story says on mynorthwest.com, quote, "Please be careful. He was following one of my friends around a week before the girl died." And why isn't that, and maybe there was, but we just haven't seen it, but why isn't there campus messages happening before the murder happens as to say, suspicious person? And maybe there was, and maybe somebody will send those to us. I have not seen
exactly, because when there are instances like this, and we don't know how many of these instances they incur at the UW. It's a huge campus in a major city that presents a whole different set of circumstances that this university doesn't let you mention Chapel Hill or Madison or wherever it may be.
Sure.
A college, Spokane, or Pullman, right? It's a different environment than a university inside of a major city.
Yeah.
Like the UW experiences on a daily basis. So maybe there was reporting to the UW police. Maybe they did report that to the Seattle police. But there's just so much, they're probably inundated with reports of non-student people, non-students being involved in being in inappropriate places or posing threats. Or
the reason this feels different to me, though, and where I want us to keep scratching and find the answer. So my son, who is in 5th grade, his class had a trip recently. They had a field trip down to UW. They got to go to UW, and they got to go walk all around and see the cherry blossoms and all this stuff. It was really cool. He was so excited to go, and he wore all of his UW gear, and it was very cute. Somebody sees a kid on campus. They're not calling the campus police. That's fine. Somebody even sees a normal person just walking across the quad or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You don't know that they're not a student. But somebody gets their way into a dorm room where you know they're not a student.
Right.
And an RA has to act and say, hey, you know what? You need to get out of here. That's a different level of a thing.
Agreed.
And so that raises up to a whole nother level. Now I'm wondering if that is happening a lot at UW and we're just not knowing about it, then they need to start making people aware of that, even if it reflects poorly on the university, because safety should be the priority.
At the minimum, students and families, parents should be notified.
100%.
And I'm going to assume that is the policy and that is the case as how it transpires in every instance. I would hope. Beyond hope, I'd be shocked if it wasn't the case. And with regard to where this horrific act took place and the young woman was killed, this is a designated student housing facility, which means that the property owner has entered into an agreement with the university to provide certain standards of.
Otherwise, why the university allowing their students to rent there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we heard stories, details brought about by Luke during his first coverage of this story, of a security lock that was busted on the laundry room of this particular unit.
Yeah.
About a break-in to this particular building a week prior, that the property owner didn't alert other students, residents, about a potential about a break-in, an attempted break-in, not an attempted break-in.
Yeah.
A week prior. These kind of warnings should, I would think, be
huge
required.
red flags.
Well, required.
Yeah, tell everybody.
To be a property manager of a UW-sanctioned student housing facility, there are standards that need to be met, promised, and need to be met.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is where speculation takes hold. But if there is a break-in in this building, then an alert goes out, and students don't go to the laundry room by themselves. They take extra steps and precautions because there was an incident just a week prior, I would think.
What's interesting is I remember even back in the day, so on my college campus, I don't know what it was like on yours, but probably something similar. I lived in a dorm that was kind of like a tower situation. So we had like 12 floors. we didn't have a laundry facility in that building. There was a laundry facility like in the middle of what was about 6 or 7 dorms.
Yeah.
And I remember knowing people on campus, if a girl was going to go and get her basket of laundry late in the evening, as students often do, they put things off till the end of the day. They're busy, they're doing stuff, and they go get their laundry. Even when there's nothing bad happening, people generally know that you don't go by yourself.
Right. You live smart. Yes.
Live smart.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's just bare minimum. I'm not accusing the victim in this case of doing anything wrong. What I'm saying is that people know that already.
Yeah.
That's not even accounting for somebody who was just a week earlier in a dorm room, right there, breaking in. I mean, that, I feel like something got missed or something was ignored that they should have paid attention to.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we're still trying to find out information on that.
A standard for a required security protocol wasn't met.
Listen to this last line from Luke's piece here. Although not a student, this is a quote, although not a student at the university and not a resident of Seattle, tracking apps and video recordings have placed the defendant, again, Christopher Leahy, 31 years old, has been arrested now, in campus buildings and attempting to enter private homes in Ravenna prior to the murder and back near the murder scene 2 days after the murder. Alone, this behavior is foreboding and ominous. This was quoted from charging documents. I mean, this is giving me real, like, Kohlberger vibes in a creepy way.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is, you know, you remember how there's just a scene the Idaho, it was the University of Idaho. The killing there was just absolutely horrendous, awful. We've a million news stories about it and all that. This has this similar thing where there's something else here that feels I feel like something was missed.
This was a menacing.
We just won't know it yet.
This was a menacing individual.
Yeah. The more information will come out, and I guess we'll find out in due time. Thankfully, though, they do have a suspect who has been now charged with first-degree murder with a deadly weapon. If convicted, this would be a 20 to 26 and a half years, and currently being held on $10 million bail. So at least he's not a danger to the community currently. All right, we have a lot more coming up. When we come back, what I want to get into is something that we all talk about all the time, which is the costs of commuting, the cost of living life here in Washington. And believe it or not, how long was it? Just recently, I feel like we did a story, maybe within the last year, where toll roads on 405 and 167 were they capped at 12? Is that what it was?
Initially, I think it was. I thought 10, but it might have been
10?
12. But this, feel the need to increase to a higher threshold of 15.
So they jumped it up to 15,
and it was within
on
a year.
both of those roads. But I think it was recently.
Yeah.
And now they're meeting again today to talk about the need to increase that toll again. Which to me, what is the justification? How can that even be? What's the point of even having a meeting a year ago if just a year later you're going to go, hey, this was crazy low?
Sully will clarify for us, but I think they're meeting to look at all different options, not just increase, but there may be other options on the table.
Is it decrease on the table?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. All right. Chris Sullivan's going to join us next. When we come back, stick around on the other half of the break. And don't forget, text BUS to 888-973-5476. We can work together to fix Sound Transit's $35 billion problem. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more.
24% of businesses are now thinking about leaving Washington.
Traffic.
We are definitely seeing some slowing through the S-curves.
Conversation.
We build it, we produce it, we charge for it.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
A one-hander! Are you kidding me?
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on brakes?
We mark Duralast brake pads down to free.
Free Duralast brake pads?
When you buy 2 rotors.
Can I get Duralast Gold pads for free?
With 2 Duralast Gold rotors, and there's a lifetime warranty on brake pads.
That's a huge markdown for so many miles.
Save on brakes and more during Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we know you're no stranger to setting big goals, whether in school, at work, or in life, and you're ready for more. At UMGC, we offer the skills-based education you need to move your career forward. Learn how to apply AI, data science, and other emerging tech, plus gain skills in leadership and critical thinking. You've come far. Succeed again. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Hey, when was the last time you inspected your crawl space or your attic? What's the last time you went in there just to see what kind of shape they're in? Oh, never? Yeah, same. I don't want to go in there. Most homeowners completely avoid those areas, but it is important to check on them regularly. It's why you call Crawl Pros. They'll come out and go where you don't want to. Hey, it's Mike Salk here. And yes, when Crawl Pros came out to my place, they realized we had a little problem with our insulation. So they've set about fixing it, and they did a great job. But if you've got the same problem, they'll also look to see what kind of energy rebates are available. Right now, local utility companies are incentivizing homeowners to make their home more energy efficient with proper insulation. And some homes qualify for several $1,000s in savings with these utility rebate programs. So don't just assume your crawl space and attic are in great condition. Do what I did. Call Crawl Pros today and schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection and find out if you've got water intrusion, mold, rodent issues, or even damaged insulation. Schedule your crawl space and attic inspection at crawlpros.com.
Spike O'Neill here. If your loved one's caregiver is planning a vacation or just needs a break, why not consider Aegis Living Respite Care? A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Aegis Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike to schedule a visit today.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Washington is helping men take control of their health with a free, comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value included when starting treatment. Your panel checks key health markers, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidneys, liver, and thyroid, so you can finally understand what your body's been trying to tell you. Since 2011, over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Get answers, get a plan, and start feeling better. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free, comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Now that Wendy's has these new biggie deals, everyone in the family can get what they're craving, from nugs to JBCs. The parental units can get an $8 biggie bundle, the eldest who think they're so grown can get a $6 biggie bag, and the little one who can do no wrong can get a $4 biggie bites. You know, assuming they have a credit card. No, I'm kidding. We take cash too. 4, 6, and $8 biggie deals for the whole family. Only at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home. The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo.
Your best source for local news.
Newly released police video shows the arrest of a 17-year-old.
KIRO News Radio.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
$83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise. There's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Grainger offers the professional grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Police continue their search for additional suspects after an officer opened fire on an armed man earlier this morning.
So just after midnight, a Bothell police officer observed a vehicle make an illegal U-turn here on Bothell Everett Highway. That vehicle then pulled in here to the 7-Eleven parking lot.
Snohomish County Public Information Officer Courtney O'Keefe says the driver fled when the officer approached and a passenger pointed a gun at him. The officer fired several shots and the car drove off, ramming the officer's patrol car. A 19-year-old is in custody after he showed up at the hospital with a gunshot wound. Students at Bothell High School walked out of class Monday to protest the North Shore School Board's vote to eliminate the school resource officer program. The board voted 4-1 last week to remove Officer Garrett Ware from campus, saying some students may feel uncomfortable with police in schools. Senior Lucas Sadowski tells KIRO 7 TV.
Officer Ware is not just an SRO in a uniform and a blank face. He is a part of our community. He is a part of what Bothell is.
Student leaders say they want the board to reconsider and they're pushing for a revote. Pierce County Sheriff deputies say an attempted gas theft in Spanaway left behind a damaged tank and several containers filled with stolen fuel.
I was going to take my girlfriend home, and then I came out, heard it, saw someone trying to jog away.
Late Sunday night, a deputy responded to the 4500 block of 225th Street Court East, where someone had punched a hole directly into a vehicle's gas tank. Deputies say gas thefts like this can cost victims thousands of dollars in repairs. They're urging drivers to park in garages, fenced areas, or well-lit spots with cameras to help deter thieves. Washington has a new state Supreme Court justice. The Washington State Standard reports Theo Angeles was formally sworn in yesterday at the Temple of Justice in Olympia. Governor Bob Ferguson appointed him to the role back in March. Angeles has actually been on the court for about 6 weeks already, but yesterday's ceremony made it official. Ferguson called him a brilliant legal mind and the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. Angeles replaces retired Justice Barbara Madsen, who'd been on the court since 1993. She was the first woman elected to Washington's Supreme Court and served as Chief Justice from 2010 to 2017. Checking out Wall Street this afternoon, stocks are trading lower. The Dow down 233, S&P 500 down 35, and the NASDAQ down 155. And now look at your KIRO News Radio traffic in South Hill. We've got a new collision. It's westbound 512 just around that South Hill curve, and you're backed up heading into the curve. Eastbound 512, you're going to jam up a Canyon Road to the seam. Here in Seattle, North 5, those scattered backups await you between the West Seattle Bridge and Ship Canal Bridge. About 15 minutes to get through downtown. And South 5 slows from about 85th across the Ship Canal Bridge, just under 20 minutes now from Linwood into downtown. And now, check out your KIRO News weather forecast. Mostly cloudy and 65 today. Tomorrow starts cloudy, slowly turning to afternoon sun. Near 70 tomorrow. And then Thursday and Friday, we're in the mid-70s and sunny. 56 and cloudy in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the show. It's been a while since we had this guy on with us, Chris Sullivan. You've got a piece on mynorthwest.com that I saw, and I went, huh? And I raised a brow, and I made audible noises of frustration.
You're not alone.
Tell us about the toll lanes, Chris. What's happening?
What's happening during the Washington State Transportation Commission meeting today and tomorrow? They're discussing the futures of tolling, primarily what they're going to do for rate setting going forward as we complete the express toll lane system on the east side. As you know, they're building the extra toll lanes between Bellevue down through Renton to match what they have up through Bothell and up to I-5. And so when that comes online next year, 18 months late, by the way, they want to make sure that they're consistent. Everything is right. You know, there's conformity across the line from Linwood all the way down to Sumner.
So they can charge as much as possible.
Pretty much. And so what that becomes the possibility of, here's what they're looking at. Is the $15 maximum enough going forward to price people out of those lanes enough to provide a faster, more reliable trip for transit, which is the goal of the express toll lane system as we have it. It's a congestion pricing model. It's not we are paying back bonds like the tolls on 520.
They're trying to keep people out.
Right, kick people out. So the question is, okay, is $15 enough? Last year they thought about 18, raising the max to 18. They shelved that. Might they change the HOV requirements? Might the 3+ all the time in order to be in there for free? 3+ longer hours. Do they expand tolling on the weekends? So right now 405 is free on the weekends. 167 is not. So these are things they're looking at to try to figure out how they can raise more money with these toll lanes going forward when they go active, when the full corridor is complete sometime next year.
Well, so is the goal to raise the most amount of money, or is the goal to clear up congestion in that lane to make it the faster alternative for those who can afford to use it?
It used to be Part B, which is
lighten congestion.
Correct. So because here's the rule of HOV lanes as they are originally designed, were to make you go 45 miles an hour 90% of the time in peak times. Now, because of the way the legislature is doing its accounting and funding things, that 167 405 corridor needs to come up with $1.5 billion worth of additional funding. That's it's going to stay in the corridor, but that wasn't as big of a factor going forward as it was at the beginning. In the beginning, it was let's price people out so we can get a much more consistent trip. And if it pays for itself, great. We get a few extra dollars. We'll throw that money back into the corridor and have better landscaping, or maybe we'll be able to do a shoulder driving like we have on northbound
Fix a
I-5.
bridge.
Do things like that. Now it's actually being looked at as a necessary fundraiser for other things in the budget. So that's kind of changed the calculus a little bit as well.
But this is what I secretly love about this plan. This is to get just the super rich into that lane. But 18's not enough. It's not, because that's not going to get enough. It's not going to clear enough congestion to get the super rich into that lane.
That is true.
We got to go 25. Well, at minimum 25 with excess of 40 at the peak hour. And this is why.
You're being facetious?
No, I'm not. You know me, I think the rich should pay more. And if you can get the rich to pay $40 and they would guarantee that they'd be able to get 45 miles per hour in that lane, it would accomplish both goals.
Here's the one giant flaw in the one giant massive flaw. And we're talking Grand Canyon size flaw. And don't take that personally.
How many lanes could you fit there?
We call this the curly factor. At some point, the super rich are like, catch me. Because there is literally no enforcement of the HOV lanes as it is today, or the express toll lanes today. You catch me? I get a $100 fine. Big deal. Catch me again. And so it becomes the cost of doing business. Those people will just flip their flex pass to HOV and drive us a solo.
Full disclosure.
As they're doing right now. So I think that's how they get away from that, because they'll do that as a cost of doing business.
Here's what I want to say.
Because there's no enforcement.
I did that for 2 years because I was just like, forget this.
You're going to play the odds.
I played the odds. I got pulled over. I did it for 2 years. I got pulled over one time, which ended up being like, I don't know what it was, $185 or whatever it was at the time. And well worth it, because I drove it twice a day. I was commuting from Linwood to Bellevue every single day. I drove in those lanes. I flipped a little thing. Was it tedious to have to flip it 13 times? Yes. But you know what? I saved thousands of dollars that I would have otherwise had to pay, and I think the statute of limitations has run out on that, so I don't think they can still charge me those things. This is all just suggestion, by the way. I didn't actually do any of these things. Full disclosure, didn't do any of these things.
It's called
in case you're listening. Acting. But I have heard of some people who have done that very effectively, and I think you're totally right. In response to you, why do you hate poor people?
I don't hate poor people.
Sure you do. You're making them drive in longer traffic. Why should rich people get more than poor people?
I've often said the separation of the classes is the undoing of our society.
Don't poor people deserve a fast commute time as well?
Of course they do. That lane should be open to everybody.
Why do you support rich people getting more?
That lane shouldn't be for money. That lane should be. They should arrange it to 3 people.
Here's a smart idea.
To get cars off the road.
Here's
That's
a
the
genius
solution.
idea. What if they took the lane and they arranged anybody who's, say, in a high occupancy vehicle? You could call it an HOV lane. Anybody has free access to that lane.
You mean
is that
keep
a
it the way
possibility?
it was?
Keep it the way it was. How about we do that? Instead of going to this stupid model, we're going to charge $25, or to Spike's suggestion, $40 per rich person.
I mean, if
driving
that's
that lane.
what it is in the Beltway. You go back to where you grew up around D.C. I think last time I checked, I think the max was around $35, $36.
It's not helping normal people. Rich people aren't paying it. The state has now become reliant on a new tax revenue source, and they're just screwing us all, just raising it as much as they want. Go back to the HOV lane. We were already all paying into that with taxes. Everybody was happy with it. Let's just go back to that. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Make it a 3-person minimum and make the fine really hurt. Make it a $500 fine.
Make it a 2-person minimum. Why 3? Make it 2. That's fine. That's still 1 extra car off the road. I mean, if 3 makes you floats your boat, whatever. But right, $40 a car is preposterous, and it won't stop there. It's going to be $500 before long, and there will be rich people willing to pay for it, and poor people who will suffer. Because I love poor people. I don't want them to suffer. Unlike Spike, who only wants poor people sitting in traffic, which is a joke, obviously.
Bottom line, the longer they sit in traffic, the longer they get this radio station into their car. That's
but the more the more they waste the gas, the
longer the commute, the better our numbers, buddy.
So it's just
can't we all just agree this is a bad system and it's just spiraling and it's doom looping, and let's just get rid of it?
Well, the way it was set up is not what it's intended to be doing. Is not how it's.
They're shoehorning it. They're turning it into something else.
It's become something different, and not to scare you guys, but when we go live next year with that new segment down to between Bellevue and Renton, it's going to be segmented. You're going to pay multiple tolls on that same route. So you have the possibility, say you're making that same drive to Linwood, from Linwood to Bothell, but
somebody I know made that
some
drive.
person you want to know. Say you're trying to avoid the Friday afternoon traffic on I-5, you're going to the beach, you're leaving somewhere, so you're driving from Linwood to Sumner down what you're avoiding I-5, you're taking the long, hopefully faster route.
Sure.
You will pay a toll from Linwood to Bellevue, you will pay a toll from Bellevue to Renton, and you will pay a toll from Renton to Sumner.
Triple dip.
At some point on a Friday afternoon, I could see where 2 out of 3 of those would be the max. So we're talking, as it is today, $15 plus whatever. You could be paying $30, $35, $40 on that one trip
one way
next year, one way.
Yeah.
Anyway, because they're going to start segmenting. Now, the likelihood that you hit all 3 spots because of the way our commutes go at the max, not likely, but it's possible.
The problem is the state's addicted. They've got a taste for this. It's like sweet, sweet meth to them, and they cannot get off of it. We need to force them off of it. Honestly, it's like we got to be kind to these people, just like we would for a drug addict. We don't give the drug addict the option because they're going to keep choosing drugs, and the state's going to keep choosing this drug.
That sweet, sweet green honey.
They're going to keep injecting it into their veins that were I-5, and now they're going to 405 and 167, and that's what they're just going to keep doing.
And by the way, in the long-range plan written in the very, very, very deep parts of the 2050 master plan for the region, there are ideas of tolling 90 and I-5.
I know. Yeah.
Those, they haven't really bubbled up to the surface. No one really likes to talk about that, but it's in the white papers. It's in the documents of the long-range master plan.
God bless us.
So the meeting today and tomorrow?
Yeah, meetings today and tomorrow. And again, no action being done at this meeting today. They're just talking about what we're going to do as we go forward over the next year as the next segment comes online for rate setting. By the way, they are also discussing later today, after your show, a discussion of a low payment option for people with lesser means as it relates to tolls. That one I do believe they're going to take some action on, so there might be some relief there too. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. We're on top of it.
I have no interest in lower payments, just no payments. Just HOV. No, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous.
Federal assistance or state assistance for the toll fees?
Yeah.
Golly.
Kind of just like we have on.
So I get to pay for trips I don't take.
Right.
This is
just
great.
kind of like subsidizing mass transit or things like that. We have for lower income folks there too.
Yeah. Chris Sullivan, thanks for coming in.
Check him out on My Northwest.
Oh, you're just like Santa Claus.
You're a fountain of fun.
Yeah. All right, check him out on My Northwest. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around.
The John Curley Show.
I have a 1941 Dodge at the front of the house. And
there's a nest in there.
Wasps. Big nest.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I got 2 cans of wasp spray. I put them both on the seat, and I get a .22 rifle. Poof! Giant, cloud of fire and poison, which it did work. That seemed like something that Matt Damon, what's those movies he was in? Born Identity, a Born Identity thing.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we know you're no stranger to setting big goals, whether in school, at work, or in life, and you're ready for more. At UMGC, we offer the skills-based education you need to move your career forward. Learn how to apply AI, data science, and other emerging tech, plus gain skills in leadership and critical thinking. You've come far. Succeed again. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Dr. Mark Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures, including mine, at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine. And we've interviewed over 100 of Dr. Wagner's patients, and we hear the same things. It changed my life. I'm back to doing the activities I love without pain. It really works. It's remarkable.
We love helping people get back to living life to the fullest and doing the things they enjoy most.
They also must really enjoy not having the pain and recovery time with surgery.
Stem cell therapy is a 60-minute, non-surgical, minimally invasive procedure to eliminate pain, regenerate cartilage, treat tendon and ligament tears, osteoarthritis, and chronic tendonitis.
And you only use the patient's own stem cells.
That's right, their body's own stem cells.
So whether it's a hip like me, an elbow, shoulder, or knee.
Don't forget ankles, wrists, and thumbs.
Yep, those patients too. Before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD first. Learn more at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today. Donate your car today.
G. Scott here. Safeway wants you to know Sunbucks gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically. Others need to apply. Find out if you should apply at freesummermeals.org.
All right, welcome back to the show. Many of you may have seen, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I certainly got it in my feed. You probably got it in yours as well.
Got it many times, actually, yeah.
We could do a whole segment on, like, what are we seeing in our feeds? Because it's all different stuff. But some stuff crosses over.
Mm-hmm.
Some stuff gets to everybody. And apparently the algorithm knows that we're both interested in the Mariners. And so it showed us this video of a woman who was at a Mariners game recently with her friends. In the video, what's crazy is it's on video. In the video, they're like posing for some sort of a something.
They'll take a little group selfie video.
Yeah, and as they're doing it, a foul ball gets hit and just pops right off her head.
Yeah, this glances this woman's head. It's been estimated to be about 114 mile an hour traveling from because the science tells you everything. From the foul tip of the bat to her seat behind the visitor's dugout. At the T-Mobile.
Unbelievable.
And we can play the video for you because listen for the Listen for the sound of baseball on skull.
Okay, we're gonna play here. We'll play this for you here. Are we doing the video or the audio? We have the audio.
Yeah,
we have the audio.
We both have.
All right, and this is Jamie. Is it Goya or Gola? She's the one who got hit. She was on with G and Ursula just a little bit ago talking about the reaction afterwards has been very unexpected.
Yeah.
So we'll chat about that in a second. But listen to this. Listen to this. You can hear the ball impact. Oh, you could if my audio was on. You have to listen really close. Even if my audio's not on, just listen really close. All right, here it is. Oh, my God.
That wasn't the bat hitting the ball. That was the ball hitting her head.
That's bad. It's bad. And if you watch in the video, it looks painful. I mean, some things it looks horrible.
It looks as bad as it sounds, and it sounds bad. That is a serious blow to her head. She initially shook it off and didn't feel like she needed to go anywhere, but then she said she felt a headache and a little sick or something, a little nauseous.
Oh.
So she reached out to Mariner Guest Services, who then got her a wheelchair, got her to an ambulance. She went to, I think, Harborview for examination. But that's where, and the story kind of takes a bunch of different turns here because...
Yeah, what happened in the aftermath? So then
the
one
aftermath
of her friends posted online because nothing is real until you post it online.
And it's one of the crazy things about what made this go viral. So there are literally millions of views for this video was the fact that they happen to be about an estimated 1,400 people a year are injured at ball games by foul tips, according to Major League Baseball. But very rarely do you catch it from 2 feet away in a selfie video.
As you're making
she is the featured element of this little selfie video while a ball strikes her clean in the forehead.
All right, so this is Jamie talking with G and Ursula just a little bit ago. Listen to this.
I went to Harborview. They weren't able to fully examine me because I had alcohol in my system. At that time, they advised me to get a CT scan, which I declined since for insurance purposes, I didn't know how to go about that. But on my discharge paperwork, it did say I had a soft tissue bruise or contusion. So I have been monitoring my symptoms, and it's been okay so far, just little minor headaches here and there. But I will be following up with my doctor this week.
So part of the reaction afterwards, people commenting on
the internet likes to have an opinion.
People were not nice. They were
people
posting
were
nasty
horrible
things
to this young woman.
What were they saying?
Pay attention was, if I could root it down, pay attention. It's your own fault.
Yeah.
Who goes to a ball game and doesn't pay attention? And
I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I didn't post that. That was my first reaction. Was like,
that's fair.
Be careful what you do while you're watching a baseball game because they have great seats, by the way.
They're great seats.
Great seats.
I'm not sure how many rows back, but they're right behind the visiting dugout, and that's part of the story as well.
Yeah.
And folks who literally attack this poor woman.
That's not nice.
On social media.
Yeah.
All kind of names. Body shaming this woman.
Well, you take it into that.
Keyboard strong. That's a loser.
I do think, though, there is an interesting part of the horrible people are online. They will always take the opportunity to do the most horrible thing that they can do within the bounds of being online. But the online is a horrible place. But I will say, I do think the interesting criticism is the discussion about being careful and being aware at a baseball game.
Especially when you're sitting in the kind of seats that this group
you're in the foul ball territory.
And that's my other thought was, if you look at the safety netting behind the home plate at T-Mobile, it is 27 foot tall behind home plate because those foul balls, they come back, again, 114 mile an hour was the estimate of the impact on this girl's head.
Fast.
The netting drops down from 27 feet behind home plate. It goes from dugout to dugout at 27 feet. And then from the dugouts out to the foul poles, it drops to 13 and a half feet. And that's where it went directly over that fencing and hit this girl's clean in the noggin.
Oh,
and
it really is awful.
I mean,
feel bad
it's
for
awful.
This woman.
And to your point, when you're in a seat like that, they tell you foul balls can come off. Bats have flown into the crowd.
Yes.
In these seats, you got to be aware. You got to be aware. But why did the M's made a decision to lower that netting from 27 feet behind home plate to 13 and a half, and that's obviously for visibility's sake. They want to improve the view for the seating, right?
Yeah.
They deemed that it was less of a dangerous situation from the dugouts on at 13 and a half was enough. And clearly, in this instance, it wasn't enough.
Well, I feel like I do want to push back a little bit and defend the Mariners in that This to me feels like maybe one of those instances where it's a kind of a freak accident. So I don't know if like changing the net height and then obstructing view is what has to happen.
Okay, that's fair.
And I would say, I would ask the question, if she were not on her phone, not watching the game, and I'm not criticizing her, I'm just asking.
If they weren't filming a video with their buddies. If they weren't
filming a video, which is a new element added to the experience of watching baseball. When I was a kid, you go to baseball games, you generally are watching baseball. Now, you're watching a lot of people just look at their phones no matter where they're at.
Yeah, you're making content for your Instagram.
Here's another side question. If you're walking across an intersection and somebody's on their phone and they get hit by a car, how much of that responsibility do they bear in that conversation? And I'm not saying she's totally guilty here.
No, but she can't be totally absolved from any responsibility here.
Just be aware, because man, those
never
balls
a bad
come
idea.
in fast. Absolutely. All right, stick around. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Renton police investigating a shooting that happened just after midnight.
Engaging conversation.
It's just indefensible. The mayor's communications team should be better.
Traffic.
A full closure now, southbound 509 at Alexander Avenue.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Summer's right around the corner. Can you say World Series? I don't want to jinx anybody, and I don't want to jinx the heating system or cooling system that you have, but it could possibly out at home. So the best thing to do right now is to replace the system. You want it done right and done fast. Upgrade your cooling now with Home Comfort Alliance. Their 60-second online price estimator makes it so easy. Upgrade to a Lennox cooling system and get a new heating system free. Plus available utility rebates. Visit homecomfortalliance.com today.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
The action is fierce, the energy is over the top, and it's a night you don't want to miss. It's Excite Fight Live MMA at Muckleshoot Casino Resort on Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m. See a full night of incredible combat when MMA fighters face off in the cage and turn the excitement all the way up. Get your tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Federal authorities say the teenagers who killed 3 people at a San Diego mosque yesterday before taking their own lives met online and shared a broad hatred toward different religions and races. FBI Special Agent in charge, Mark Remley, says the victims...
They were confronted by teenagers who appear to have been radicalized online to believe that they didn't belong because of how they looked or where they worshiped.
He says they found writings by the suspects and have recovered 30 firearms and a crossbow from 2 homes. The Justice Department has expanded yesterday's settlement between the IRS and Treasury Department and President Trump, agreeing to drop tax claims against Trump. CBS's Linda Kenyon.
The president dropped his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS over a leak of his tax returns in exchange for nearly $1.8 billion compensation fund for those who believe they were wrongly prosecuted, including January 6 rioters convicted of assaulting police. Vice President J.D. Vance said anyone can file.
We're not making commitments to give anybody money. We're just making commitments to look at things case by case.
The settlement also states the U.S. is forever barred and precluded from examining or prosecuting President Trump, his sons, and the Trump Organization's current tax issues. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Voters are going to the polls today for primaries in several states, including in the key battleground states of Georgia and Pennsylvania, where Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro says his mission is to win up and down the ballot to defeat President Trump in November.
I did a lot of research.
I wouldn't want to be Trump or any Trump-backed candidate, knowing how angry people are about how things cost too much, about this war overseas that is not only wrong-headed, but driving up prices.
This woman in Atlanta says before she cast her ballot,
I did a lot of research online, and then obviously I watched a lot of news.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio will travel to Europe this week for a NATO meeting. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
Rubio's trip comes as the Trump administration looks to reduce troop levels in Europe and Trump's repeated criticism of NATO allies for not assisting in the war with Iran. Rubio is expected to again insist that NATO allies invest more in their own defense. NATO's top commander says he doesn't expect any more immediate drawdowns of American troops from Europe beyond the 5,000 Trump has announced will leave the continent.
In the east, the brutal heat continues for another 2 days, sparking heat alerts in the Northeast. Roanoke, Virginia firefighter Travis Armstrong.
Today was like the first day where I felt really hot. And if I feel that way, I tend to just try and drink as much water as I can.
Meantime, the Southwest fire danger weakens after triggering 8 new wildfires in California alone. Stocks right now close down on Wall Street. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible? Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time.
A disturbance between neighbors turns into a 6-hour SWAT standoff. Details straight ahead, but first, your KIRO News Radio traffic. All in all, we're looking good out there. North 5, of course, we've got that usual scattered backups between the West Seattle Bridge and Ship Canal Bridge. It's 15 minutes to get through downtown. We've got a stall, though, on the ramp to North 5 from the West Seattle Bridge. It's over to the right side of the ramp. IRT is on scene assisting. Not much of a backup here. Just want to make you aware of it as you come around that corner. South 5, you're slow from Lake City Way in the downtown. Linwood into downtown's a 20-minute commute. And in South Hill, that collision westbound 512 around the South Hill curve has cleared. The westbound backup is cleared, but that eastbound looky-loo backup is still there. You're slow at Canyon Road to the curve. The support brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
And good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. A 6-hour-long standoff wrapped up in South Seattle earlier this morning. The SPD SWAT team was trying to arrest a barricaded assault suspect at an apartment complex at the corner of South Michigan and 4th Avenue South. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has the story.
This all started around 2 a.m. when police were called to the Martin Court Apartments for a disturbance between 2 men and one of them down with multiple stab wounds. Here's SPD Detective Eric Munoz.
When officers arrived, they found a victim with multiple stab wounds. He had a stab wound to the abdomen, and he had a laceration to his head, kind of near his eyebrow.
At last report, the victim was listed in satisfactory condition. The suspect booked into the King County Jail for felony assault. In South Seattle, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
A concerning scene reported inside Seattle's Discovery Park.
We Heart Seattle founder Andrea Suarez says a volunteer found a man camping alone in the woods with no food and no bedding, but she tells the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red 770 AM he has about 100 milk jugs full of urine. She says he refused their help.
That man does not need a keys to an apartment. That man needs to be psychiatrically evaluated now before something worse happens. He's a ticking time bomb.
The group reported what they saw to the city. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
A new State of the Air report shows wildfire smoke is reshaping air quality in the Seattle-Tacoma region. The American Lung Association now ranks the metro area among the 8th worst in the country for short-term particle pollution. The ALA points to larger, more frequent fires across Washington, Oregon, British Columbia, and California. Several Washington counties, including Pierce, Skagit, and Thurston, still rank among the cleanest for ozone pollution. The company behind the AI chatbot Claude is looking to grow in Seattle. The Puget Sound Business Journal reports Anthropic is negotiating a 120,000 square foot lease in South Lake Union, where it already has offices. Sources say the San Francisco-based startup wants more space at Dexter Yard, a mixed-use development that opened in 2023. The deal would put Anthropic in the heart of Seattle's most tech-savvy neighborhood, just blocks away from Apple, Google, and Amazon. And now look at your KIRO News Radio weather. 65 and mostly cloudy this afternoon. Wednesday starts off sunny, increasing clouds in the afternoon with a high near 70, and sun in mid-70s Thursday and Friday. Partly sunny and 58 in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Lots of stuff to get to. So much we can't possibly do it by ourselves, which is why we have invited Jason Rantz from Seattle Red 770, the Jason Rantz Show, to join us for this segment. Jason, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Jason, we're very glad to have you. A lot of stuff we want to talk about. We want to talk about whether or not homeless folks around Seattle are being shipped off to other cities, as per some reports. You have a piece on that at mynorthwest.com, on seattlered.com. People can read it there, which we will get to in just a minute. But let's start with something else. Let's start with this piece that I saw in the Seattle Times, although it's been reported everywhere, that all these beaches, it's nice weather coming up. We're getting good weather finally. It's almost summertime.
Summer's a week away, less than a week away. You have the unofficial start of summer,
which is Memorial
Day weekend. It's Monday.
How quickly, let me ask you guys this before we get into the disgusting story about why beaches are closed. Do you ever go and swim at local public beaches? Jason, I don't even need to ask you this question because the answer is, of course, no.
I mean, this is like we just met.
Yes, we did not. Spike, do you ever find yourself swimming at local beaches?
I'm not just a never nude. I'm a never shirtless. So I will
well, you can
not,
still get in the water. You just have a shirt.
No, to be completely candid with you, I don't swim in local beaches because it's only cold water.
It's pretty chilly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would it prevent you from swimming? Let's say that you were an avid swimmer. You loved, just like you're a total water baby.
I was raised in the ocean. I'm a water baby.
So you love cold. You love the cold water.
Well, I like wait until it warms up. Is what I like to do. I like to sit in the sand until mid-June.
Question on question. On the East Coast, does the water get warmer than it does here?
Absolutely,
it does.
Where I'm from, anyway. Not in New England, of course. If you're up in Maine, you're not going to get warm water ever. Okay. But in Mid-Atlantic, sure. Midsummer, you get nice warm water. By September's the best time to be at the beach. But people raised here are of a different breed.
Yeah.
They enjoy these public facilities. They look forward to it. It's their, especially in a day where you can't travel very far, people can't afford to take long, lavish vacations. Local staycations are everything. And to have these 4 beaches closed down,
let me ask you guys
close to the start of summer is a real kick.
Gene Coulon, is it Coulon or Coulon? Coulon. Gene Coulon Memorial Beach. This is in Renton, Madison Park Beach. Green Lakes West Beach, and Seward Park's Andrews Bay Beach. All are no swim zones right now because of stuff in the water.
Yeah.
We all know what that stuff is, right? It's poop. It's a poop problem.
It's bacterial. Is that what they're officially? Is that the official scientific terminology? Is bacterial?
I think it's officially called poop.
You went to science school. I didn't go to science school.
I have a college degree. What do you want?
I think the scientific term you're looking for is feces.
Okay.
Fecal matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. The layperson says, "Is that poop? What's that smell?"
It's not human. My point being, it's not human though, right? It's
not
animal.
all human. It's mostly animal.
It's mostly animal.
A lot of it's
geese.
animal.
Yeah.
Some of it's human. Right?
Yes.
Some of it's human.
Some of it is clearly human, but it's primarily animal.
Oftentimes when you have closures along the Sound, it's a treatment facility that leaked into a local area. That's happened on various lakes. But
a lot of it's goose, duck.
A lot of it's goose,
Yeah, stuff like that. So these beaches are closed right now. Bacterial levels are very, very high, they say.
To the point where don't even let your pets get in the water.
Yeah. I was in a situation where I was recently at a public park. Actually, not recently. It was a year ago. But I was at a park a year ago, and I saw signs, and then directly across from the signs were people swimming. And I was looking at the sign that said, "Don't swim because of duck itch," or whatever the thing was, which is, that's just fecal matter from birds, right?
Yeah.
Just disgusting bacteria. And there's people like doing cannonballs into it, and either they don't care or...
Well, have you ever been to the Red Sea?
In the Middle East?
Yeah, you know how like it's so dense with
salt.
You can that's similar.
You bounce off when you cannonball it.
Yeah,
you ricochet.
You really easily float
because of all the
fecal matter.
Because of all the fecal matter.
Yeah.
Well, so you're saying it's actually kind of a strange benefit.
Well, I wouldn't call it a benefit. It's probably
it does help the non-swimmer though.
Yeah,
but
it really does.
It's harder to drown, I think.
But you almost wish you could.
Do you guys think that this? It's probably mostly from the animals. It's probably not.
It's not a human factor. I don't think. I don't think we've gotten to the impact of our homeless population.
Yeah.
On the area hasn't risen to the point where they're relieving themselves so often we have to close beaches.
It depends on where we're talking about. There have been instances in which this has been an actual issue because of the homeless population, especially around like creeks, streams, things like that.
Yeah. And that's often with regard to also not just human waste, but I mean material waste.
Sure.
Sharks and whatnot.
100%.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that story recently? I saw it posted by We Heart Seattle, but they were out making like a wellness check. They do these wellness checks, Andrea Suarez and volunteers. And they came across a guy. Was this in Discovery Park? Did you guys see that?
Discovery Park. I talked to her yesterday.
Okay, tell us a little bit about this. And I mean, this is a Howard Hughes level of confusing to me. Yeah. If anybody doesn't understand the reference, go and watch The Aviator. But explain what happened.
So she had a volunteer for We Heart Seattle going into Discovery Park. They're looking for the next spot that they're going to provide their trash pickup. They go around different parks all around the city and they clean up as much as they can. And so this one volunteer was going off the path and found a guy who was living in a tent, no food anywhere, no bedding anywhere, but was surrounded by at least 100 milk jugs filled with urine. And from the color of the urine, you could tell there was much more than just probably dehydration. I mean, some of them were almost green tinted as well.
My gosh.
So possibly some liver issues with this individual. They talked to the guy. He appears to be dealing with significant mental illness. This does not appear to be like a drug issue. This was someone who was mentally dealing with something.
Sure.
What, I have no idea. They tried to get him services. He, of course, said no.
He did not want help.
He didn't want help. They reported it to the city. It's not clear whether or not the city came through, but someone yesterday went in and cleared the jugs of urine, at least for the time being. We don't know if he's going to get the help that he desperately needs.
That's the question. Is do we know if he was even brought in for treatment?
He was still there. He was still there yesterday. Yeah, so he did not get the area. Exactly, okay. Which is a problem in and of itself because while I obviously want all that stuff cleaned up, if you had it all there and then you called the cops to show up, they would likely be able to use that to say that this is someone who's living with a disability. We can now actually forcibly remove them and then ultimately get them the help that they need. But instead, they took away all that evidence of that disability, and now he's still there.
But I would think photographic evidence of those would still suffice.
I don't
this
know.
Guy the kind of help that he needs.
You would think that, but
I would doubt that, because if they don't have him in the picture placing those bottles, then they can't.
It's not his.
It's not his.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was only here for a couple hours.
Let me play you guys this audio, and then I want to talk a little bit more about this. This is from We Heart Seattle posted this.
One of our friends walked off the beaten path, one of our volunteers, and noticed this tent with this man that's sitting there alone in the woods.
All right, I'm going to come and just kind of poke my head in again and see if you're all right?
With no food, no barbecue, doesn't even appear he has bedding, but he has collected, 100 or more milk jugs of urine.
They then ask the guy, they say, hey, we're just checking on you. And the guy says, I'll move. And they say, no, we're not telling you have to move. We're just saying, do you need help? We'd like to help you if you need help. And he says, I don't want to give you I'm not going to tell you who I am. We're not going to give you my ID. And they say, well, we're not asking for your ID. We're literally just saying, like, do you need help? Can we help? And you can tell he's just not having the same conversation that they're having. And it was very sad to watch, because these are the people that We Heart Seattle are dealing with on a daily basis. And these are the people that, when you think about, like, who's beneath the bridges, who is out in the woods, it's mental health episodes that people are having. And you need to, figure out a way to get these people out of there. So this guy's living like it's less than an animal. Most animals that we know can come inside a person's house. Like, your dog has a much better life than this guy does.
I would think that you wouldn't need 100 milk jugs full of urine to know this guy was not well. I mean, just go, whether there or not, go speak with this guy. Anybody that would collect this type of, environment, any quick cursory examination of this guy's mental state would probably tell anybody of any training that this guy is not well and needs help. Deny all you want to, dismiss and ignore and refuse help all you want to. There's a point when public safety comes into play, not just this man's well-being, but the community at large in Discovery Park. To allow this guy to maintain himself in this condition, in this environment, seems like that's beyond the pale.
Well, it is beyond, and then it raises the question of, like, all right, well, what do you do with somebody like that? Because we have a big, giant, shiny event coming to the region, and we want to show nicely.
Point does the public good outweigh the individual rights of an individual?
Well,
right?
He's on public property, so he should not be there. My recommendation would be take him.
Yeah, but put
him into a facility.
Beyond his "I'll move" response.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take you in because you clearly can't make decisions on your own to benefit your well-being.
Yeah.
Or the city's well-being at large.
Yeah, I mean, look, at some point, they're not able to make any kind of decision on their own, nor should they be trusted at this point to make a decision on their own. It takes a lot to get there. It takes too much for the city or the state to get there. But that's where we're at with so many of these people. In fact, probably the vast majority of the visible homeless that you see.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, are dealing with either a severe drug addiction or mental health issue, or both. And you can call it compassion to allow them to stay outside and not push them into shelter, or use this whole, well, they have to be ready. Yeah, they're never going to be ready. And at that point, they'll be dead.
Some people never get there until it's too late.
Yeah, at some point, the compassion that we like to talk about coming from the city and from this county and frankly from the state is deadly, and that's deadly compassion.
Let me ask you this. I saw this report. You have a piece at SeattleRed.com, which people can read right now, and there are allegations that one of the methods that Katie Wilson, mayor of Seattle, is using to get Seattle ready for the World Cup's spotlight. World Cup is in, exactly a month, basically, is to ship local homeless people out of Seattle and into other places. What's your story about, and is there any validity to those claims, or what's happening?
There is validity to homeless people leaving. There is not validity, as best as I can find out, nor anyone with any proof, that we're shipping quote unquote people off.
Seattle's not buying tickets on a
communities.
bus saying go away.
Well, didn't say that.
Tickets.
Oh,
it didn't quite say that. There's not necessarily like this coordinated effort that we're just handing out a bunch of tickets to go hang out in Bremerton, take the ferry over and hang out over there, or go to Moses Lake.
In fact, go on a vacation for a month.
Moses Lake PD a couple weeks ago, they had posted on their Facebook page that, hey, we've heard all the rumors. We've also seen what appears to be an uptick in homelessness. We're talking to these people. There's no evidence to suggest that they're coming from Seattle. We don't know that for certain, but there's no evidence of that. What's likely happening, we've seen an uptick, a slight uptick, at least in the area around the stadium, of sweeps. And it would not be surprising if officers who are getting more involved now were to, or social workers were to say, hey, if you're smart, we've got this event coming up. If you don't want to be moved from encampment to encampment to encampment in this general area, you should probably just get out of the town.
And risk losing the supplies
because
you've collected to sustain yourself on the streets.
We're going to clean all of this up. We're going to toss it all away. And certainly for the next month and a half, this is going to be recurring in this general area. So if you don't want to be hassled, you should probably just go. Now, is it possible that their response to that is, okay, I'm going to go into Bremerton, or I'm going to go to Bellingham, whatever it is?
Wherever it is, yeah.
Sure. We've definitely seen within the last couple of weeks an uptick of these sweeps. They have not expanded too far outside of that sort of downtown core of Sodo and Pioneer Square into downtown. It's certainly not hitting Belltown, because I'm there almost every single day, and it's absolute nightmare. It is so bad in
World
Belltown right
Cuppers,
now.
for the most part, aren't going to Ballard or Belltown. They're going to be down.
Well, they won't go to Ballard. They might go to Belltown, but they're definitely not going to go to Ballard, right? And you're not seeing as much of the sweeps in those particular areas. Right. I feel most bad for the folks in the International District, because they're the ones who almost always face the brunt of any kind of
people being relocated.
They just push them one neighborhood down, and the tourists aren't going to the International District for the most part. But it goes to show, not that the sweeps are wrong, but the approach is still so deeply broken. They're not doing anything different. They're not saying we're going to move you into shelters, or we're going to move you into detox, or whatever it is. We're just going to move you. And that doesn't address any of the underlying issues. There's the short-term problem, right, which is we need to clean up for FIFA. We have an agreement in place with FIFA that we're going to be a presentable city that's going to be as safe as humanly possible. They've kind of created their own little mess in banning cars in that general area, which means there's going to be more foot traffic. So now they definitely can't have all these encampments all over the place and the open-air drug use. But just simply pushing them to another area doesn't actually do anything. Unless you're going to do that consistently and across the board, because then you're basically putting the pressure on them to say yes to the services.
Well, we have two separate problems here. The city wants an issue where they have visitors come to the city for World Cup, make a good impression, that they'll come back and be tourists again. You can do that by just sweeping out that corridor. The issue of the homeless situation in Seattle and its ongoing plight on the city, that's a completely different beast with a completely different set of solutions. So this works for the short term to
it is
impress
100% short term. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the MLB All-Star Week was all about. They
clean when
that
the first lady comes to town, we always clean up when companies coming over. That's why my policy
The
of
one
inviting
time-
a VIP every week is the solution.
Over the course of 4 years, the one time I gave just complete kudos to Joe Biden was when he came to downtown Seattle and he stayed at the
Got it
West End.
cleaned up.
And they cleaned up this one encampment that was right by the light rail station, or the streetcar, that stunk to high heaven, and it was there for months, and then overnight it was gone.
Let me ask you a quick question. I know we're very short on time, but what does that say to you when a city's willing to do that for somebody like Joe Biden, for somebody like the World Cup? What are they saying then about the homeless people?
They don't care about the taxpayers in Seattle. They care about the people who might come here and spend money in Seattle, even if it's in the short term. And they certainly don't really care about the homeless. They just care about the visitors and the money that comes with it.
I think you're spot on, because they've already got the residents' tax dollars.
We're the SAPs. We're not going to stop paying taxes.
They're looking for the visiting dollars to come into town, and they're trying to court and cater to that pocket.
Every
to
time
get
I see
into.
a story about like Ferguson is releasing videos saying how great it's going to be when the World Cup is happening and we're going to have all the ferry systems running and the streets are going to be so clean. It is really frustrating as somebody who lives full-time in Washington to go like, well, why can't you guys do this for the rest of the year? You could if you wanted to.
They could. They 100%
You just
could. They are
don't
making
want
a
to do
choice.
it.
It's got to be a fundamental philosophical change of how they address the situation of homelessness.
Yeah, and you're not going to get that.
Charlie Harger's piece earlier this week on My Northwest about San Francisco's success, how they've kind of, a mayor of one of the most progressive cities in America has said, look, we are not going to be able to solve this problem unless we address the issues of drug addiction and mental illness.
Yeah, Mayor Laurie, who, by the way, is not like this hardcore progressive.
No,
to your
no.
point, like, he's still a liberal,
but
he's
also
more
a common-
moderate
yes.
liberal, and that's where that ideological shift goes.
Yeah, and we are seeing the exact opposite with the new elected mayor of Seattle.
All right, check that out at seattlered.com. Jason Rance, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around. Spike, do you want to give a little tease ahead to what the folks can look forward to?
We had scheduled the virus and the ship that bore that hantavirus all across the globe.
I like Hunta better. That's fine.
Yeah. But I'd almost rather talk about your.
Should we talk about that DUI thing?
I would love to get to that before we run out of a show.
It was not my DUI, but we were almost in a very bad situation.
Yes, I'd rather, if you don't mind, I'd rather go into that with you.
Let's do that. Yeah, and encourage people, just don't drive drunk. Good golly. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
The Chi and Ursula Show.
Prices in the Seattle area jumped nearly 5% in April.
Weekdays 9 to noon.
Well above the national inflation rate of 3.8%. So, in other words, we're paying more than much of the rest of America is right now.
It feels like a treadmill that continues to get faster and faster and faster. But somebody keeps speeding it up and increasing the incline.
Chi and Ursula. Watch live or later on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home in Washington, recent headlines might concern you. Talk of pocket listings or private networks where only certain consumers see certain properties are all over the media. Good news. The legislature recently passed a bill to protect you in your transaction. No secret deals, all listings available for everyone to see, not just an exclusive club of insiders. This means more competition, better offers, and fair access for all consumers. Learn more at warealtor.org. Sponsored by Washington Realtors.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
I need an AC tune-up, and one room isn't comfortable.
We could do both. And if it's time to upgrade, get a free furnace with a qualifying cooling system. Plus, we help maximize rebates.
Get a tune-up or free estimate at cmheating.com. CMHEA HL751LW.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Washington is helping men take control of their health with a free, comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value included when starting treatment. Your panel checks key health markers, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidneys, liver, and thyroid, so you can finally understand what your body's been trying to tell you. Since 2011, over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Get answers, get a plan, and start feeling better. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free, comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
CarsForKids.org. That's cars with a K.
Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KIRO Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KIRO Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Donate your car today.
The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com.
I started Davis Law Group in 1994 to fight for the underdog. And as our team has grown, we've stayed true to that mission. Today, Davis Law Group is known for providing excellent service and even better results. Visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com to get your free book on car accident law.
G. Scott here. Safeway wants you to know SunBucks gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically. Others need to apply. Find out if you should apply at freesummermeals.org.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The U.S. Justice Department is launching a civil rights investigation into Washington State's women's prison in Gig Harbor. The department sent a letter to Governor Bob Ferguson today saying it will examine whether housing biological male inmates at the women's facility violates the constitutional rights of female prisoners. DOJ says it is looking into allegations of sexual violence, harassment, and intimidation. We have reached out to the governor's office for comments. King County Assessor John Wilson says he is now complying with a judge's order to wear a GPS monitor. KIRO News Radio's John Repp has the latest.
Wilson faces the charges in connection with allegations he stalked and harassed his ex-fiancée and violated a court order. Today, he provided proof that he signed up for GPS monitoring in compliance with the judge's requirement. Wilson, who will pay $189 a week for the monitoring, has faced repeated calls for his resignation from his position as King County Assessor. His next pretrial court date is in June. John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
The Bellevue Arts Museum has sold its downtown building. The Puget Sound Business Journal reports Kids Quest Children's Museum bought that building for $5 million. The art museum closed indefinitely in 2024 amid financial troubles. Kids Quest, which will double its space with the move, plans to open in the building by 2029. In the meantime, the Bellevue Arts Museum will continue operating as a nonprofit. At the closing bell today, stocks continue to slide lower under pressure from rising interest rates. CBS's Jason Brooks reports.
Higher inflation expectations lifted long-term Treasury yields to the highest level in 19 years, further boosting interest rates and resulting in another sell-off in tech stocks, notably Amazon, Alphabet, and Meta. Jason Brooks, CBS News.
And the tech-heavy NASDAQ closed down 220 points, Dow off 322, and the S&P 500 lost about 50 points. Now to the real-time traffic desk, we check in with Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. Northbound I-5 in Seattle, no surprises. We've got scattered backups between the West Seattle Bridge and the Ship Canal Bridge. Nothing real heavy, 20 minutes max to get through downtown. South 5, you're looking great. Just a little crowded from Northeast 50th down to the Convention Center. South 405, pretty solid now from I-90 down just past the VMAC. You're close to freeway speeds here. It is crowded, though. And up in South Snohomish, heading into the city of Snohomish, northbound 9 already has this bumper-to-bumper backup between Broadway Avenue and Marsh Road. It's only a 1 mile backup, but it is thick, and it'll add a few minutes to your commute. Everywhere else, we're looking just fine. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And out of your forecast, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies for this afternoon, and highs today in the mid-60s, partly cloudy tomorrow, and highs in the upper 60s. Right now, 59 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. Just the other day, this was over the weekend, Saturday afternoon, my family and I decided, my wife and I were like, hey, you know what would be fun? The kids were behaving in a way that we found mostly tolerable, which is nice with 4 kids. And we said, why don't we surprise them and we'll take them out to dinner and we'll go sit at a restaurant with the 4 boys, which is it's a big ask when you got 4 very young kids. My oldest is 11, the youngest is 2, and it can be a disaster. It ended up being great. We had a nice time.
Good.
Everybody had fun.
Yeah.
We're working on manners right now.
Perfect. That's what you do.
We're
You got
trying
to take those moments.
Yep. We're trying to put them in situations.
You go
where
to
they,
Canlis above the lake there.
went to Canlis. The safest way to do that is really just like you got to get the private room area, and if you can do it, no, just kidding. We did not do that.
Well, it matters where you pick to, but that's a different topic for a different day.
We went to Applebee's.
There you go.
Yeah. Kids love Applebee's. Parents love Applebee's. Yep. This is not an ad. This is just it worked out for us. Good
Perfect.
spot. So we went to Applebee's. We're sitting there. We have a nice meal. Kids are enjoying themselves. They're coloring on things. We finally leave. We get back in the car and we head home, and we're on Highway 9 heading back to our house, and we're coming up on, Highway 9. You drive out there quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Okay, so they're building a new bridge over the Snohomish River right now.
Yes.
So there's construction that's happening right there, but this doesn't play into the story that ended up happening. But right there is a merge where somebody who's coming from downtown Snohomish, if they're heading north on Highway 9, up, let's say you're heading towards Lake Stevens, or there's a Costco up there, whatever.
About to cross too. Yeah.
So somebody merging Saturday evening, apparently, according to the news story, they say it was alcohol related, drives north on Highway 9 and then ends up driving into the wrong lane, smashing into 2 vehicles. Yeah. One of the cars ends up in the ditch. Another one ends up flipping.
It ultimately destroyed. I mean, totally destroyed.
Totally
this
destroyed.
car.
Jaws of life had to be used to get a couple of at least one of the drivers out. People are sent off to Harborview. One of them has life-threatening injuries. We're not sure if it's the driver of the car who is suspected of drunk driving or if it was one of the drivers of the other vehicles. A very scary situation. But the point of all this is that was like 5 minutes before my family and I were right there. So much so that when we were driving home, beautiful sunny Saturday night, we just had a good experience out with the kids. We're feeling great. And then we pull up behind a police car. I think it was the Snohomish County Sheriff, who had just flipped his lights on and was now, we watched him.
He was first on the scene.
We watched him as he turned and blocked the road.
Yeah.
So that nobody could go on Highway 9. And so we decided we took a little shortcut through downtown Snohomish and we get back on the road. And then they had blocked the other side too. There's like a new roundabout there. And they blocked the other side. And I was thinking to myself, how crazy is it that we were like just minutes away from being in maybe a disastrous situation? You just never know. And oftentimes when I think about drunk driving, I'm usually comforted by the idea that a lot of these accidents are happening way later than I'm generally out. Certainly later than when the kids are out.
Yeah, you feel, if you don't go out, I call it amateur hour, when the bars close.
Sure.
If you're not on the roads at those times after midnight or whenever,
then it's a lot safer.
You greatly diminish your chance of being involved in something like this where you're at no fault of your own.
Yeah.
You just fall victim to the horrible decisions of others who chose to drink and drive.
Yes.
And put your family's life at risk.
Which is tragic anytime that it happens, but you can mitigate that risk depending on how late you're willing to be on the road.
But when you see it happening at dinner time, in the early evening of a beautiful pre-summer evening, it really hits home how fragile life is.
Totally.
How we all have to be, I mean, to the story we had earlier in the show, you got to live your life these days a little bit more. There's no luxury of being cavalier about your safety anymore.
Yeah.
You really have to be aware.
You have to be aware, and you have to be, just always be safe. This was at 7:24 p.m. on a Saturday evening. I mean, that area is like, it's all families out there. There's no, it's not like there's any hot bars around there that people are going to.
It's just about, not just a little short of paradise.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. You're talking about a rural setting outside of a tiny little town between communities.
Yeah, you might catch a hot air balloon at that point in your rearview mirror.
A few bikers roll by, but they're in formation. They got their act together. Pardon my French.
Have you ever avoided
near
death collisions or anything like that?
Yeah, couple, especially on a bike.
Oh man, I didn't think about that.
I lost a dear friend to a drunk driver, and that's usually what happens when you're on a bike, is when someone is involved in a collision. It's, I mean, and not to be, motorcyclists take extra precautions. We give ourselves buffer zones around our bikes, and you always see people on a bike that will give yourself maybe a couple, 4 car lengths ahead of the bike, And drivers always take that opportunity to steal that space, to use that space to merge in.
It's like a big rig. Get in front of a big rig.
Exactly
Like,
right.
don't do it.
A friend of mine had someone come across the line and take out the bike in front of him, who a good friend of mine, Bruce, lost a leg.
Oh, my gosh.
But then my friend Tom lost his life. And, and at that point, no matter how careful you are, no matter how many precautions you take, sometimes there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Because people made a horrific decision to, be irresponsible. And because that's the thing about drunk driving and people who drink and drive, who's the campaign that with the, tipsy is drunk. The tipsy driving is drunk driving.
Yeah.
If when in doubt, don't get in the car.
Buzz driving is drunk driving.
That's it. Buzz driving. I've done this.
Yeah,
I've
it
done
makes
this.
me a better driver because I'm more aware. Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's not just yourself, and I think we all know that. It's not just yourself that you're taking a chance with. It's the family. It's you and your 4 kids and your lovely bride.
Well, and it's like
2 minutes earlier, man, and you're, I love you, buddy. 2 minutes earlier, and
yeah, that could have been a bad situation.
Yeah.
And this guy, like, I don't know. They say it's a driver who's 36 years old, who is at fault from Shelton, driving northbound on 9, cross the center line, hits 2 other vehicles. I don't know what his situation is like. I mean, if he's driving intoxicated at 7:24 in the evening, I don't know where he's coming from.
Who knows?
I don't know where he's going. But he's in a car driving unsafely, according to these news stories.
Making the decision that he's okay. He's probably, I've had a couple, maybe I had a round of golf. Maybe me and the boys had a few.
Totally. And that's what would happen.
Right.
You'd be at like
That's where you
ending
were.
whatever you're outing. Like you haven't even started your night at 7:30.
Nope.
And then the worst thing that can happen possibly happens. There used to be a lot. I mean, I think I do think that people are getting more comfortable using, Uber or there's some different
the services. Yeah.
I do think that is becoming more prevalent, but it's still, unfortunately, it's still happening, and people are still getting behind the wheel and thinking that you can do it, and
the
just
state
can't.
The state invests so much money in educational campaigns for the buzzed is drunk, for example. I would like to see a dedicated fund to reimburse ride shares. That if you think you're drunk, just call. It's free. The state will reimburse that driver. I mean, I know that we go through so much money, but if you can't dedicate, I don't know how much to reimbursing people who when in doubt, because some people make the decision to drive. It's horrible.
It would be an interesting thing though, because then they'd really take you up on it.
Well, sure.
I mean, if there was no cost factor.
I'd rather they did. I'd require them to blow and give me a blow.
I do think you would need some
give me
sort
a breathalyzer.
Every car has a breathalyzer.
0.08,
and those little throwaway things like you stick in your ear at the
free.
doctor,
so
that you can all use the same machine. And you go,
right?
Oh man,
free!
You didn't quite hit it for free.
Yeah, well,
go back in and have another drink.
Sorry.
Like you have to.
Now you're troubleshooting my area. That's good. I'm good. We're workshopping this.
Like how many drinks would you have to get before? And then it's become unfortunately, then the motivation is like, who can be drunk, drunk enough to get the free ride. So it's just a bad situation.
Well, no, okay, but 0.08 or 08 is free.
Sure.
0.10 is right to jail. How about that?
Well,
you want to cap that?
I don't want to send people to jail for being drunk. I don't want them driving. Just don't drink and drive.
That's it. Yeah, I guess.
Whatever the fix is, I don't know what the fix is.
They were talking a while back about possibly lowering that blood alcohol level to 0.05. And take the maybe off the table.
0.08's already very low. I mean, 0.05 is, what is that going to do?
Let's just take maybe off the table. I don't know. I just know when people are, 3 people were injured in this.
Seriously injured.
To the hospital for a couple of people. Jaws of life. Cars were destroyed.
Yeah,
it's a miracle no one lost their life.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I'm really, really glad your family's safe.
Me too. Absolutely. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around when we come back.
Well, we're going to talk about the Bothell resource officer and the student protest.
The walkout.
That took place, the walkout, yeah.
Yes.
And where this all stands.
Walkout for where is what they get. Isn't that smart?
Yeah.
It's a nice little, I like that phrase. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We got some audio and stuff. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more.
24% of businesses are now thinking about leaving Washington.
Traffic.
We are definitely seeing some slowing through the S-curves.
Conversation.
We build it, we produce it, we charge for it.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
A one-hander! Are you kidding me?
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Hey, Spike O'Neill for Aegis Living. Recently my aunt had surgery, and it was minor surgery. She was home the next day, but we as a family weren't sure if we were equipped or ready to provide the kind of medical attention and care she needed, so we called our friends at Aegis Living and asked about respite care. Respite care is short-term stays from a day, 2 days, 2 weeks, provides 24/7 expert care, all the amenities of Aegis Living, and peace of mind for our family that my aunt was getting the kind of care she deserved. It can be a much-needed break for a caregiver in your life as well. Go to agesliving.com/spike and book a visit today. That's agesliving.com/spike.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit Bucky's.com.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466, 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, D.R. Horton has the right home for the best value. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com.
Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger.
How does your roof look after this winter? Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Spring into action today. Save $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
All right, welcome back to the show. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Bothell High School students had a walkout yesterday. A big chunk of the student body walked out in support of the school's SRO, which is School Resource Officer, Officer Garrett Ware, who I believe we're actually going to get on the show tomorrow. We're going to talk with him about his time at Bothell High School, which is coming to an end, thanks to the school board's decision to eliminate the program that's been at the school since for, what, 3 decades, 30 years now?
The program's been there, yeah. It was 10 years that Officer Ware was on that campus, that guy on that campus.
Yeah.
Part of that student body's experience.
And they all seem to love this guy. And I mean, I was thinking about this morning. When I was in high school, I started high school in 1999, I think was my freshman year, 98, 99. That was right around Columbine. The school experience changed after Columbine.
Yeah.
Prior to that, there was not the same awareness by parents and by students that schools could be places that were unsafe.
It never crossed our minds.
Didn't even cross
my
our
freshman year
mind.
was 79.
Was that even...
Not even
was that,
remotely.
The only thing you were worried about was getting in trouble for something stupid you would do by administrative,
exactly.
Whoever,
I
principal,
feared,
whatever.
I feared my vice principal.
Yeah. And now that has shifted, and students are keenly aware of what's happening off campus. And so the whole conversation changed. And they've had resource officers prior to Columbine, but that's when really it kicked in all around the country. People went, hey, you know what? This is something we want to be aware of, and this is something we want to get ahead of. Even if they're not full-time, even if they're just district-wide.
Yeah, dedicated to the schools themselves.
Yes.
And maybe going from campus to campus to campus as a situation in other communities.
Very common. Happens all the time.
It's still better than a random call to your local law enforcement community when something tragic starts to transpire.
Yeah. And that's what everybody seems to be confused by. And they say, like, well, North Shore School District, of which Bothell High School is in, why would the school board vote 4-1 in favor of getting rid of a program that everybody seems to love? The principal recommended that they keep the program. You have other administrators recommending the program.
Parents and student body overwhelmingly support this program.
Parent student body. There was a survey that was given to students back in 2024, asking them, how high do you rate school safety and your desire to make sure that there's somebody on campus who can respond to something like this, an SRO? 77% responded strongly that they wanted somebody on campus to respond in just such a situation.
Well, they said they feel safe at school.
Yeah.
You know, they feel safe, and they feel safe because they know Officer Ware is there.
And now he's going to go away. I'm interested in obviously the students don't want this. And the teachers, many teachers and parents.
What I admire about the protesters, it was almost 200 students, I think, were the walkout yesterday. Is that the right number?
That's what I see. So, yeah.
Not only were they in support of Officer Ware and speaking to the sense of community and safety and at peace of mind students and families felt because of his presence, they also called out the school board members, the 4 members directly, who voted to terminate this contract. They called them out by name.
Yeah, they have their names here, which
they have big signs. They have big posters of the 4 faces of the 4 school board members that voted to terminate this contract.
Is it Carson Sanderson, Kimberly Kelly? These are on the signs.
Yeah,
Han Tran, and Elizabeth Sotak. Now, I don't understand why, if all these students and all the that's an interesting thing to me, actually. Why would somebody on a school board, who I imagine respect the opinion of, let's say, the principal of the school, why would they ignore the principal's recommendation? I can understand maybe them not thinking that students have a clear-eyed vision of the larger picture, although in this case I think they're wrong. But students are young, they don't know everything, that's why they're students. But you think that they would also weigh heavily the recommendation of the principal of the school. Don't you?
I would think so. Someone who's living that school experience on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and who has
is responsible for the well-being and the peace of mind and the learning environment that school provides for its student body.
Yes, and has to respond to and be aware of all of the threats, all of the calls that come in. I mean, just the same week that they voted to end the SRO program, he had to respond. Officer Ware had to respond because there was an incident on campus where you had a student with a knife.
Yeah.
And they had to shut a building down. And he had to be the first responder who was on scene. Thank God he was on scene.
Well, School Board Director Hantran, this is the quote, this is from KIRO 7. Hantran said, "I'm not able to support renewal of this contract because this district owes our community something more comprehensive and equitable and more empowering to all community members."
She's just saying words. She's just saying words that she thinks are going to reflect nicely on her. Empowering and equitable.
Well, I think she's responding directly to those who spoke out against this SRO's presence, that some students felt uncomfortable with a law enforcement community member in their school. They felt uncomfortable around law enforcement. And, the answer to that is not hiding your kids from law enforcement. The answer to that is a positive exposure, positive experiences, positive relationships with members of the law enforcement community, which they've had for 30 years in the district and 10 years with Officer Ware.
I was going to say, there is somebody they could go talk to have that experience.
If only there was somebody with 10 years of hands-on experience, lived experience in that school.
His door is open, and he reportedly always has snacks when a student is hungry, and his name is Officer Ware.
I think it was just yesterday you said it. There comes a point in time where if the school board doesn't listen to the people who elect the school board, it's time to elect a new school board.
Yeah, fire him. Do it quick. That's what I would do. We'll talk to Officer Ware tomorrow. I'm super excited about that. Great job, Laura, getting Officer Ware.
And coming up next, you've promised a solution to light rail's funding issues?
I'll fix it for you when we come back. Stick around.
The John Curley Show.
I have a 1941 Dodge at the front of the house. And
there's a nest in there.
Wasps. Big nest.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I got 2 cans of wasp spray. I put them both on the seat, and I get a 22 rifle. Poof! Giant cloud of fire and poison, which it did work. It seemed like something that Matt Damon, what's those movies he was in? Born Identity, a Born Identity thing.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
If you're over 62 and feel squeezed by rising monthly bills, listen carefully. I'm Steve Teitler, owner of Best Mortgage. Every week I talk with seniors who love their home, want to stay in it, but feel more financial pressure every month. Property taxes are adding up. Insurance is up. Everyday bills are up, and for some, they still have a mortgage payment on top of all of that. Are you worried about outliving your savings? A reverse mortgage could help by eliminating your mortgage payment, paying off debt, and giving you breathing room every month. Now, let me be clear, it's not right for everyone, but for the right person, it can be a powerful tool. When you call Best Mortgage for a free consultation, you'll talk directly with me. I'll explain your options and tell you honestly if it makes sense for your situation. If you're 62 or older and want straight answers about staying in your home with less financial stress, call me today, 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage. Honest advice you can trust. 425-649-6000.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, start treatment at Revive Washington and get a free comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, and more. Take control of your health today. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The federal government broadens the deal to resolve President Trump's $10 billion lawsuit against the Internal Revenue Service over the leak of his tax returns. Loyola Law School professor Lori Levinson explains.
In a truly unprecedented move, the U.S. government has agreed to permanently drop tax claims connected to President Trump and his family and the Trump Organization. And this all happened because, frankly, President Trump tells the Attorney General and at the agencies, including IRS, what to do.
In San Diego, the Islamic Center shooters met online, left writings expressing hate. An FBI special agent in charge, Mark Remley, says they've searched 2 homes.
During those searches, we found and seized numerous firearms from 2 of those locations, including numerous pistols, rifles, shotguns, ammunition, tactical gear, as well as electronics.
3 people were killed yesterday, and investigators say the 2 shooters took their own lives. Federal authorities have charged several Chinese companies with deliberately restricting the world's production of shipping storage containers ahead of the COVID-19 pandemic. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
Authorities allege the company slowed production just before the global supply chain came under enormous strain.
At the height of the COVID pandemic, the defendants lined their own pockets by choking the world's supply of shipping containers.
Acting Assistant Attorney General Omid Asefi.
This case affected every American store shelf and every American home.
He said the conspiracy roughly doubled the prices of standard shipping containers and increased the container manufacturers' profits by nearly 100-fold.
Voters are going to the polls today for key primaries in Alabama, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Idaho, and Oregon. In Kentucky, Republican Congressman Thomas Massie, who pressed the White House for more transparency on the Jeffrey Epstein case, squares off against Trump-backed Ed Gallerine. But Massie is expressing confidence in his run.
He knows I'm tough to beat. He's tweeted probably, 8 or 10 times in the last 72 hours. He's literally losing sleep over this race because he's in with both feet.
Fire crews have been working to contain a wildfire in Simi Valley near Los Angeles. Fire officials say the Sandy Fire has burned almost 1,400 acres since starting Monday morning. Tens of thousands of people are under evacuation orders. Andrew Dowd with the Ventura County Fire Department.
We're using both ground resources and aviation resources. So we have fixed-wing aircraft that are available to us that will be able to start flying and providing retardant drops.
The fire is only 5% contained. This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
Coming up, a stabbing suspect arrested after a standoff in Seattle. That's what we get to after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. The Hood Canal Bridge is closed right now for marine traffic. This typically takes between 15 to 30 minutes, and we're about 15 minutes into it. There are 1 mile bumper-to-bumper backups approaching the bridge right now from either direction. In Everett, eastbound 526, we've got that Boeing backup leaving the plant over to I-5. North 5 through Seattle, scattered backups approaching the West Seattle Bridge across the Ship Canal. Plan on 20 minutes through downtown. South 5, you're crowded from the Ship Canal Bridge down to the West Seattle Bridge. It gets pretty heavy at I-90 down past the West Seattle Bridge. South 405, scattered backups from Factoria into Renton, and North 405 off and on slowing from South Center through the S-curves. Considering a new Lennox cooling system before the summer heat wave? Well, you get a price estimate on your phone in 60 seconds from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com now. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. A stabbing suspect is in custody after a 6-hour standoff in Seattle's Georgetown neighborhood. Police say they were called to the Martin Court apartment complex around 2:30 this morning for a fight. Detective Eric Munoz.
They are neighbors. They got in a dispute earlier this morning. It turned into a fight disturbance, and ultimately the suspect pulled out a knife and obviously seriously injured the victim.
He says the suspect stabbed that victim in the chest and slashed them in the face. After hours of negotiations, officers took that man into custody. He was booked for felony assaults. Search is on for multiple suspects after an officer confronted an armed man outside a Bothell 7-Eleven early this morning. KIRO News Radio's John Repp has that story.
It started with an illegal U-turn just after midnight and a Bothell police officer walking up to the stopped car. That's when police say the driver fled and a passenger pointed a gun at the officer, who opened fire. The vehicle sped off, ramming the patrol car. An hour later, a 19-year-old showed up at a Burien hospital with a gunshot wound.
That is believed to be an individual involved here in the shooting this morning. At this time, that person has been transported to Harborview Regional Medical Center.
Courtney O'Keefe with Snohomish County says the officer was unhurt. John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
The computer system that distributes billions to Washington public schools is at high risk for catastrophic failure. State auditors say that software used by the Washington Superintendent's Office runs on outdated technology. The report also shows the office depends primarily on its IT vendor and a few longtime employees. State auditor is calling for the office to modernize that system. A Seattle Mariners fan hit in the head by a foul ball is now dealing with a wave of online hate. Video of last Friday's incident went viral. Jamie Gala tells KIRO Radio's Jean Ursula.
People name-calling, body shaming, bringing politics into it. Someone said that this is a man's sport. Why are you watching it? You need to listen to the man, pay attention, all of that.
Well, she tells Jean Ursula she was treated at Harborview Medical Center for a soft tissue contusion. Says she's recovering physically and plans to follow up with her doctor later this week. Your weather update now. We are looking at mostly cloudy skies today and highs in the mid-60s. Right now, 60 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Man, I'm excited about this segment. Spike, I'm going to ask you, we did something last week, so that was kind of fun, where we crunched some numbers. Mm-hmm. At the time we were talking, what were we talking about? We were crunching numbers and deciding. You decided. I gave you all the power to decide if it was a good idea or a bad idea. Do you remember?
We were talking about the arbitration of Seattle Art Museum employees and the right to unionize, and whether or not that
they should unionize.
They should unionize, and if the city, or Seattle Art Museum, I should say, could afford to pay these folks a higher wage, given that they're a nonprofit organization, relying on vast majority of their funding coming from donations.
Yeah, from donations, philanthropy.
And you gave me the gavel. It felt good.
It's good to have that power, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, you're a powerful man. I want you to have the power. I appreciate that. So I presented you with some numbers, and ultimately, even though you're a guy who supports workers' rights
I'm a worker
and unions,
I'm a
and all that
union
stuff,
guy. I've worked for the union in the previous iterations of my career.
but you did decide ultimately, given the financial numbers and the breakdowns of how much they actually have to spend each year and how much it would cost the museum, ultimately, unfortunately, you decided, or fortunately, depending.
You can't pay your way out of existence.
Yeah.
If you're a business. I mean, we see that day in, day out around this town.
Yeah. Yeah. So I agree with that decision. I'm not going to fight it. I accept your decision.
That's what arbitration's all about, buddy.
That's what
we
it
both
is.
agree going in
Yep.
to accept the decision of the
Accept the
arbitration.
clear arbitration verdict, and that's why it's speeded up. All right. So I have another one for you. You guys can read about this. If you want to text us right now, the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, text BUS to Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. I've been scratching my head lately. You know, I like to crunch these numbers. And Sound Transit has been, just the other day, they had like an emergency listening session. It's never a good thing when you have to have an emergency listening session. Take it. As a married man, trust me. You've arrived at a bad point.
Yeah, you're right, buddy. That's not going to end with liquor and cigars.
Nobody's going to be happy. If you get to an emergency listening session, you've gone down the wrong road or the wrong track in this case. So Sound Transit board of directors is asking the public, like, hey, we're $35 billion in the hole on our projected, finishing out of the spine and all the different extensions that we promised you. And yes, we're not going to be able to deliver on many of those things that we promised you, even though
start cutting a few corners or eliminating a few corners altogether.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
A few different stops aren't going to happen. A few stations proposed aren't going to be able to be realized.
Possible some extensions don't actually end up happening. All these different things are on the table. And it's to make up for a budget hole of about $35 billion. And I'm sitting there. I'm stuck in traffic all the time, and I have a lot of time to think on my hands. And sometimes that is useful, and other times I just kind of stare. People, sitting next to me in traffic, like, what's that guy staring at?
You're staring at an empty train going by.
Well, oftentimes I am staring at an empty train. And I was thinking about the future, as I often think about. And I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if all these investments, I mean, just billions and billions and billions of dollars that have yet to be spent, are those good investments or bad investments? And so I want to crunch some numbers with you. And I'd like to submit this again for Judge Spike to make his decision. You're the arbitrator. You're going to decide whether or not we should, because Sound Transit is basically saying, like, we're going to have to either cut a bunch of stuff or more likely we're going to take more of your money.
Yeah, or they're going to extend the bonds out to 75 years and make your great-great-grandkids pay for this?
They want to extend bonds beyond the normal 40 years, which the state legislature allows right now.
Because 40 years is the life expectancy of a project.
Life of the project.
And I'll be paying for something that's already crumbled into dust.
Yes.
But that's on the table now.
But that's on the table. Yeah, double the expected life of the project that you're paying for.
And we're hoping there's room on the table for one more idea.
I would like to present you with such an idea.
That's where you come in. I love this.
All right. So I wrote this piece on mynorthwest.com. Text BUS to 888-973-5476. Or just go to mynorthwest.com and read it. But here's the gist of it. Have you ever seen the movie Back to the Future?
Of course.
Okay. One of the best movies in cinematic history. There's a reason why it has stood the test of time. That's not a pun. It's just, it worked out. It is one of those movies that you look at and you go like, this is a perfect movie. It's perfect. And it's got one of the best final lines that kind of throw you right into the second film.
Absolutely.
Do you want to give the audience that line and then I'll play it?
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Perfect.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88. Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Oh, I forgot the part. We don't need roads. Oh, he's so right.
Yeah.
That's what the future's supposed to look like.
Flying cars. And then we're into Back to the Future 2.
So is your proposal to run the city on banana peels and coffee grounds, as the doc did?
Nuclear-powered time machines? No, although we may get there before the train finishes
I'd like
the
to
tracks.
get there 10 minutes before you leave the house. How about that? How's that sound to you?
That sounds
Now
great.
what would you pay?
Well, here's the honest question. What if the technology that we're investing in as the future, which is so ironic when you think about it, like train tracks are the future. What if the technology that we're investing in, to the tune of billions and billions of dollars, massively over budget, all this infrastructure cost, What if that's going to be obsolete in a few years? And the thing that I bring up in the article that I want to present to you, Spike, I looked at that $35 billion number and I said, what can we do? What can we rearrange in that $35 billion? What can we build that's new? Instead of just plugging a hole like Sound Transit wants to do, to continue building this train that may or may not be successful. The only way that Sound Transit pans out over a long enough timeline is if they have maximum ridership forever. Now, they right now are operating at like a third of what they told everyone they were going to get as far as riders on the train.
Yeah, daily ridership.
Daily ridership. They need to be well above where they're at right now by like a 3x multiple, where they're at right now, to be even in the ballpark of making it make sense, because every trip is subsidized by taxpayers. Every single time somebody gets on that train, it costs you as a taxpayer about $15. I don't know if you knew that, but it costs
every time somebody gets on, every day or every time?
Every time somebody gets on the train. So
I don't want ridership to increase then.
But here's the thing. But that's true for any public thing. So
of course. Yeah.
Buses are actually the same way. Buses are actually quite expensive for people to ride. It's subsidized for people to ride buses. The trade-off for us as a society is we think to ourselves, well, if there are 100 or maybe 110 people riding, let's say it's a double-decker. You see a bunch of those new double-decker community transit buses. If you have 110 people riding the bus, that's 110 cars that's not on the freeway with you.
Right, and that's the sell job, the draw of light rail is cars not on the road.
There you go. Well, and so that's a larger question too that I'd like to have. Like, what is the point of light rail? Is the point of light rail because it's more environmentally friendly? That's an argument.
That's one element of it.
One of the other arguments is if we can get enough people to ride light rail and we get enough people off the roads, then we're alleviating the traffic that's on the roads and we make traffic easier for everybody.
Another card in their hand.
Yeah. And so looking at those, I said to myself, is there another solution that's right in our faces that we could do for far cheaper than light rail? And I think I've come up with it. And the answer is buses, which seems crazy, but stick with me. Electric buses. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to address, there's certainly cheaper options. There's traditional fossil fuel hybrid buses is an option. But I'm trying to really lean into, I'm trying to give the people who really care about the environment the piece that they are arguing for with trains.
I respect that. Good for you. I respect that. Yeah.
Okay. So as the arbitrator, here's what I'm going to present to you. A brand new electric bus is somewhere in the neighborhood of about $800,000 to $1 million.
Really?
Yes. It's a lot of money.
Wow. Well, no, I'm surprised it's so low.
You thought it might be?
I'm surprised it's so low.
Okay. Well, it's a big investment.
Okay.
It's a lot of money. But
okay, $800K to, well, let's say $1 million.
Let's call it $1 million. Let's call it $1 million on the high end. Okay. On top of that, have you ever driven in an autonomous vehicle? Car that steers itself, drives itself?
I have not.
It's a trip. It's definitely kind of mind-blowing because it feels like, just like Back to the Future, it feels like science fiction, but it is happening in front of your face. It's avoiding other cars. It lets you know when somebody's too close, and it deviates the path.
Yeah.
Statistically, they're safer drivers than we are as humans.
Yeah, the human element is a much greater risk to passengers than an autonomous vehicle. And these are still in the infancy stages of autonomy.
Yes.
With regard to transportation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always thought that, well, the only way that autonomous vehicles would work is if every car on the road is autonomous, but that's not the case. They operate just fine around poor human drivers as well. And so here's a question to you. Do you think that autonomous driving technology will increase and become more prevalent or less prevalent as we move forward in the future?
More, easily.
Okay, perfect.
Easily.
Perfect. So here's my suggestion then. We take those $1 million electric buses. Mm-hmm. We buy a bunch of them. We make them fully autonomous. To make them fully autonomous, that technology is an extra $200,000 in software upgrades to these not trains, they're land trains is what they are.
They're they are.
Highway
they
trains.
Are. Yeah, they're road trains, yes.
So you take these buses and you have made them fully autonomous, and that cuts down immediately on the number one cost. Now, drivers of buses are not going to like this. But the number one cost of operating buses and the thing that makes them so expensive in terms of like taxpayer subsidies is the cost of the driver. It's a big expense.
Okay.
Now, if you could get rid of all the drivers of these buses, which kind of seems like it's a natural thing to happen anyway, if we do have autonomous vehicles, for that $35 billion, I've been crunching the numbers on this, and if you just took the whole, this is not the 185 that they want to spend on the whole system.
Right.
Just the 35 billion. Do you know how many electric buses you could get on the road, fully autonomous, moving people to the tune of millions and millions a year in the local region?
It's 35,000 buses. I'm just, am I ballparking
You're
that
very
correctly?
close on that. You're very close on that. You could get 15,000 buses for 18 million bucks, and you would still have almost half that money left over for maintenance of those buses.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
For infrastructure costs,
Okay. Oh,
different things. Because you want to have like a bus stop.
Yeah. Of course.
So you could spend half the money. You could get 15,000 fully autonomous electric buses, and then that taxpayer subsidy point, which is what I'm interested in, removing people off the roads.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that number gets down to for autonomous buses? Like how much it would cost per rider on those buses?
No.
It's about $2. It's somewhere between $2 and $5. Now here's the thing: the $15 number I gave you to the trains earlier, that's just their operating budget per year. That doesn't include the capital investment costs to build the system.
The taxpayer bond issue repayments
Doesn't count.
Okay.
If you factor that in, and we should.
Okay.
Right? Do you think we should factor that number in?
Of course, it's coming out of my pocket. Might as well. I'm not. It's not going to be there later when I got to pay rent.
Do you know what the
or
subsidy?
dinner.
Do you know what the subsidy is for those train rides? If you factor in the cost of the system that's required, so the train can have somewhere to go.
How much?
It's about $130 a ride. That's a lot of money. Versus $2 to $5 on an electric bus.
You're pitching a shutout here.
So what I'm wondering is, are we investing in a technology that's already dead? Are we talking about investing in a system where buses are great? Electric buses are great. You're getting the environmental side of things. You're on existing infrastructure, which is our highways. They have a lot more leeway on where they can go. The great thing about a bus, you're not stuck on a track. You can go down into a city. You can deliver somebody right up to the front door of UW if you want to.
Sure.
You can deliver somebody
You're
right up
right.
to the front door.
Infrastructure is already there and it's everywhere.
That's
everywhere.
a great, you know what? That would be my motto. It's already there and it's everywhere. Spend less. Ride the electric buses.
Spend less, go further.
So as a arbitrator, your decision now is to decide, do we keep investing the billions and billions and billions? 35 billion is just the hole they find themselves in. They want to spend still somewhere about $150 billion.
Still to spend.
Because
they've already put, with the concrete in the ground, the track already laid, the train's already running.
Yes.
There are maybe a sixth of the budget spent.
Correct. So they're still going to spend 6 times that, and it's going to take 25 years to do it if they hit their mark on time. And the only way that becomes a palatable number is if they run at max capacity, which is 3 times more people than are riding it presently.
Wow.
So here's my question to you.
Okay.
Do we make an investment in electric buses that are autonomous, which do feel like kind of the way of the future? I mean, autonomous vehicles just in general, I think, are going to be a huge factor in whether or not people, how they're commuting.
Okay.
Autonomous buses, or we invest in sound transit because that's what we're already doing. You as the arbitrator, I'm giving you like a lot of power here.
Sure. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And whatever you decide, I'm going to go with. It's up to you. It's totally fine.
Let me say this. I think what you've brought to the table today is doesn't just have merit. I think it's got insight. I think it drips of common sense.
Oh, Spike, that's
drips of common sense. It's almost swimming in common sense. I think that your solution not just has a seat at the table; it may just get the gavel at the table, if I may. I think there's a hybrid solution in front of us here, because you've already got the track laid, you've already got the train running. That's fine. But when you're talking about spurring down to Issaquah by 2040, if we're lucky, West Seattle, Ballard.
I think Issaquah is expected by 45.
Okay.
If they're on time.
I think you pull the plug on those spurs right now, and you take that money or at least a portion of that money, and you dedicate that to a lesser expense.
Sure.
Of electric buses. You provide the infrastructure. I think you can't eliminate drivered buses. I think there has to be a supplementary, real human bus element to the lesser served areas, the main corridors, because you're talking about laying track for additional light rail trains. You're talking about main corridor, main arterial transportation to a central line hub.
So you're saying you'd like to explore the bus idea, electric buses, but you'd like to also include the driver.
I think you leave the existing drivered bus system in place, And instead of extending the spurs of this
I hear
light
what
rail
you're saying.
system,
I see what you're saying.
you make that an already on the street autonomous bus contribution to the arterial plan that moves forward. I don't know how much that was going to cut off of the potential spend.
Yeah.
But I'd venture to guess it's probably a third of the potential unspent budget would be saved.
That sounds pretty good.
Even making this complete investment in an electrical autonomous bus system that supplements the mainline drive of the new light rail plan.
And that's your decision?
That's my plan.
I love it.
That's my decision.
And that's a good hybrid solution.
Yeah. Give me Dal Constantine.
People who want to ride the train,
get us Dal on the phone.
Enjoy your train.
Enjoy your
People
train.
who want a bus with a driver, enjoy your bus with a driver.
One of the things that the train never gets credit for, and I want to make sure I represent that because I'm just trying to see all sides, is that the train is there for potential future or definite future growth. It's not there to take cars off the road. It's there to take future drivers, future commuters in Seattle from ever getting on the road. So the train has its value. The electric bus arterial supplement has great value, better value than any other element I've seen.
Boy, I love that. All right. Spike has given his decision. You guys can let us know on the text line what you think. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, 888-973-5476. We'll give you your reactions to the verdict in just a little bit. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around. When we come back, Spike, what do we have when we come back?
Well, I think Chris Sullivan.
Chris
about
Sullivan.
the potential.
Speaking of cost of driving,
money and getting somewhere. Yeah.
Good golly, yeah. Believe it or not, they want to raise tolls, or they're talking about raising tolls higher than 15. Is that even possible? We'll tell you about it next. Stick around.
This hour is brought to you by Davis Law Group.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Nick, you know what's a great thing about going to Longevity Medical Clinic as a couple?
Oh, I absolutely do. When they tell you to do something, you actually do it.
Right. And the same thing with you. When they tell you to do it, because for some reason, when I tell you to do it, you're like, whoa.
I just walk away and roll my eyes.
Exactly. But the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic, the doctors there know, because we do the blood draw and they look and they can see, they know, they hold us accountable.
Yeah, when I'm under pressure and I know I'm coming in, I know I have to work the program.
Right. Plus, we also want to hold each other accountable for how we take care of ourselves because, we want to have a long, healthy, happy life.
I know. I want every day to torture you as long as I possibly can.
Well, I look forward to it. Here's the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic. They're working with you. They're holding you accountable because they want you to have a long, healthy, happy life. I was a patient at Longevity long before I started doing these commercials. So get your free health analysis. Go to lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Under these arches, opposing teams are put to the test. Can they hear themselves over the boom of the 12s? Can they withstand the Seattle elements? Can they compete against us? Touchdown, Seahawks! This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost the house, I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found tax relief advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio, I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax Relief Advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The acting U.S. Attorney General faced tough questions on Capitol Hill today over a new $1.8 billion fund. The so-called anti-weaponization fund will compensate allies of President Trump who believe they were unfairly targeted politically by the Biden administration. Washington U.S. Senator Patty Murray argues it is merely a taxpayer slush fund.
President Trump is literally using their tax dollars to set up a slush fund to enrich his own friends.
Acting AG Todd Blanche pushed back. He told senators the fund is a lawful process for victims of what he calls government weaponization. Democrats are urging a judge to block it. The Justice Department is launching a civil rights investigation into Washington's women's prison in Gig Harbor. DOJ is examining whether placing transgender females at the facility violates the constitutional rights of women inside. The DOJ cites allegations of sexual and physical violence, harassment, and intimidation tied to that policy. The state has not been found at fault. Investigators say no conclusions have been reached. We have reached out to the governor's office for comments. Students at Bothell High School walked out of class to protest the North Shore School Board's decision to eliminate that school's resource officer program. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss reports.
From campus to City Hall, students chanted and held signs in support of Officer Ware and the SRO program.
We just want to make sure that the board, we're not something that they can just ignore and push under the rug.
Students, members of the community. The school board's 4-1 vote to cut the SRO program was not a budget issue, rather part of an annual review, with some on the board saying some students may feel uncomfortable with an officer on campus. But many students and families tell us they aren't buying it.
Pierce County Sheriff's deputies say an attempted gas theft in Spanaway left behind a damaged tank and several containers filled with stolen fuel.
I was going to take my girlfriend home, and then I came out, heard it, saw someone kind of jogging away.
It happened late Sunday night. Someone had punched a hole directly into that vehicle's gas tank. Deputies say the thefts like this can cost victims thousands of dollars in repairs. They are urging drivers to park in garages, fenced areas, or well-lit spots with cameras to help deter those thieves. Now to the real-time traffic desk. We check in with Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, we're beginning to see our mid-afternoon backups forming in all the usual spots. This report brought to you by your Seattle Mariners. We do have some sort of blocking issue here in Seattle, South 5, just past that West Seattle Bridge interchange. That's where traffic comes to a halt, and you're backed up to the north end of the Ship Canal Bridge. I haven't heard from WashDOT on this yet, so details are minimal. Linwood to Seattle, still a 20-minute commute. All your slowing is right here in downtown. North 5, scattered backups before the West Seattle Bridge across the Ship Canal Bridge. We're up to 25 minutes to get through downtown. South 405, scattered backups now from South Bellevue, starting at Southeast 8th all the way into Renton. About a 25-minute drive between Bellevue and Renton. And northbound 405 is getting heavier, still crowded from South Center through the S-curves, 20 minutes from South Center to Bellevue. Don't miss 8 fireworks nights this season, presented by T-Mobile. The first show is May 29th. Get your tickets at mariners.com/fireworks. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And to your forecast now, mostly cloudy skies this afternoon, partly cloudy tomorrow. Highs today in the mid-60s. Right now, 63 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the show. It's been a while since we had this guy on with us, Chris Sullivan. You've got a piece on mynorthwest.com that I saw, and I went, huh? And I raised a brow, and I made audible noises of frustration.
You're not alone.
Tell us about the toll lanes, Chris. What's happening?
What's happening during the Washington State Transportation Commission meeting today and tomorrow? They're discussing the futures of tolling, primarily what they're going to do for rate setting going forward as we complete the express toll lane system on the east side. As you know, they're building the extra toll lanes between Bellevue down through Renton to match what they have up through Bothell and up to I-5. And so when that comes online next year, 18 months late, by the way, they want to make sure that they're consistent. Everything is right. You know, there's conformity across the line from Linwood all the way down to Sumner.
So they can charge as much as possible.
Pretty much. And so what that becomes the possibility of, here's what they're looking at. Is the $15 maximum enough going forward to price people out of those lanes enough to provide a faster, more reliable trip for transit, which is the goal of the express toll lane system as we have it. It's a congestion pricing model. It's not we are paying back bonds like the tolls on 520.
They're trying to keep people out.
Right, kick people out. So the question is, okay, is $15 enough? Last year they thought about 18, raising the max to 18. They shelved that. Might they change the HOV requirements? Might the 3+ all the time in order to be in there for free? 3+ longer hours. Do they expand tolling on the weekends? So right now 405 is free on the weekends. 167 is not. So these are things they're looking at to try to figure out how they can raise more money with these toll lanes going forward when they go active, when the full corridor is complete sometime next year.
Well, so is the goal to raise the most amount of money, or is the goal to clear up congestion in that lane to make it the faster alternative for those who can afford to use it?
It used to be Part B, which is
which was lighten congestion.
Correct. So because here's the rule: HOV lanes, as they are originally designed, were to make you go 45 miles an hour 90% of the time in peak times. Now, because of the way the legislature is doing its accounting and funding things, that 167-405 corridor needs to come up with $1.5 billion worth of additional funding. That's it's going to stay in the corridor, but that wasn't as big of a factor going forward as it was at the beginning. In the beginning, it was let's price people out so we can get a much more consistent trip. And if it pays for itself, great. We get a few extra dollars, we'll throw that money back into the corridor and have better landscaping, or maybe we'll be able to do a shoulder driving like we have on northbound I-5.
Bridge.
Do things like that. Now it's actually being looked at as a necessary fundraiser for other things in the budget. So that's kind of changed the calculus a little bit as well.
But this is what I secretly love about this plan. This is to get just the super rich into that lane. But 18's not enough. It's not, because that's not going to get enough. It's not going to clear enough congestion to get the super rich into that lane.
That is true.
We got to go 25. Well, at minimum 25 with excess of 40 at the peak hour. And this is why.
You're being facetious?
No, I'm not. You know me. I think the rich should pay more. And if you can get the rich to pay $40, and they would guarantee that they'd be able to get 45 miles per hour in that lane, it would accomplish both goals.
You know what? Here's the one giant flaw the one giant massive flaw, and we're talking Grand Canyon size flaw. And don't take that personally.
How many lanes could you fit there?
We call this the curly factor. At some point, the super rich are like, catch me. Because there is literally no enforcement of the HOV lanes as it is today, or the express toll lanes today. You catch me, I get a $100 fine. Big deal. Catch me again. And so it becomes the cost of doing business. Those people will just flip their flex pass to HOV and drive as a solo.
Full disclosure.
As they're doing right now. So I think that's how they get away from that, because they'll do that as a cost of doing business.
Here's what I want to say.
Because there's no enforcement.
I did that for 2 years because I was just like, forget this.
You're going to play the odds.
I played the odds.
Yeah,
I got pulled over. I did it for 2 years. I got pulled over one time, which ended up being like, I don't know what it was, $185 or whatever it was at the time. And well worth it, because I drove it twice a day. I was commuting from Linwood to Bellevue every single day. I drove in those lanes. I flipped a little thing. Was it tedious to have to flip it 13 times? Yes. But you know what? I saved thousands of dollars that I would have otherwise had to pay, and I think the statute of limitations has run out on that, so I don't think they can still charge me those things. This is all just suggestion, by the way. I didn't actually do any of these things. Full disclosure, didn't do any of these things.
It's called
in case you're listening. Acting. But I have heard of some people who have done that very effectively, and I think you're totally right. In response to you, why do you hate poor people?
I don't hate poor people.
Sure you do. You're making them drive in longer traffic. Why should rich people get more than poor people?
I've often said the separation of the classes is the undoing of our society.
Don't poor people deserve a fast commute time as well?
Of course they do. That lane should be open to everybody.
Why do you support rich people getting more?
That lane shouldn't be for money. That lane should be. They should arrange it to 3 people.
Here's a smart idea.
To get cars off the road.
Here's
That's
a
the
genius
solution.
idea. What if they took the lane and they arranged anybody who's, say, in a high occupancy vehicle? You could call it an HOV lane. Anybody has free access to that lane.
You mean
is that
keep
a
it the way
possibility?
it was?
Keep it the way it was. How about we do that? Instead of going to this stupid model, we're going to charge $25, or to Spike's suggestion, $40 per rich person.
I mean, if
driving
that's
lane.
what it is in the Beltway. You go back to where you grew up around D.C. I think last time I checked, I think the max was around $35, $36.
It's not helping normal people. Rich people aren't paying it. The state has now become reliant on a new tax revenue source, and they're just screwing us all, just raising it as much as they want. Go back to the HOV lane. We were already all paying into that with taxes. Everybody was happy with it. Let's just go back to that. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Make it a 3-person minimum and make the fine really hurt. Make it a $500 fine.
Make it a 2-person minimum. Why 3? Make it 2. That's fine. That's still 1 extra car off the road. I mean, if 3 makes you float your boat, whatever. But $40 a car is preposterous, and it won't stop there. It's going to be $500 before long, and there will be rich people willing to pay for it, and poor people who will suffer. Because I love poor people. I don't want them to suffer. Unlike Spike, who only wants poor people sitting in traffic, which is a joke, obviously.
Bottom line, the longer they sit in traffic, the longer they get this radio station into their car. But the more
they waste the gas,
the longer the commute, the better our numbers, buddy.
So it's just
can't we all just agree this is a bad system and it's just spiraling and it's doom looping, and let's just get rid of it?
Well, the way it was set up is not what it's intended to be. Is not how it's.
They're shoehorning it. They're turning it into something else.
It's become something different, and not to scare you guys, but when we go live next year with that new segment down to between Bellevue and Renton, it's going to be segmented. You're going to pay multiple tolls on that same route. So you have the possibility, say you're making that same drive to Linwood, from Linwood to Bothell, but
somebody I know made that drive.
Some person you want to know, say you're trying to avoid the Friday afternoon traffic on I-5, you're going to the beach, you're leaving somewhere, so you're driving from Linwood to Sumner down you're avoiding I-5, you're taking the long, hopefully faster route.
Sure.
You will pay a toll from Linwood to Bellevue, you will pay a toll from Bellevue to Renton, and you will pay a toll from Renton to Sumner.
Triple dip.
At some point on a Friday afternoon, I could see where 2 out of 3 of those would be the max. So we're talking, as it is today, $15 plus whatever. You could be paying $30, $35, $40 on that one trip
one way
next year, one way.
Yeah.
Anyway, because they're going to start segmenting. Now, the likelihood that you hit all three spots because of the way our commutes go at the max, not
They're
likely,
addicted.
but it's possible.
The problem is the state's addicted. They've got a taste for this. It's like sweet, sweet meth to them, and they cannot get off of it. We need to force them off of it. Honestly, it's like we got to be kind to these people, just like we would for a drug addict. We don't give the drug addict the option because they're going to keep choosing drugs, and the state's going to keep choosing this drug.
That sweet, sweet green honey.
They're going to keep injecting it into their veins that were I-5, and now they're going to 405 and 167, and that's what they're just going to keep doing.
And by
They're
the way, in
addicted.
the long-range plan written in the very, very, very deep parts of the 2050 master plan for the region, there are ideas of tolling 90 and I-5.
I know. Yeah.
Those, they haven't really bubbled up to the surface. No one really likes to talk about that, but it's in the white papers. It's in the documents of the long-range master plan.
God bless
So
us.
the meeting today and tomorrow?
Yeah, meetings today and tomorrow. And again, no action being done at this meeting today. They're just talking about what we're going to do as we go forward over the next year as the next segment comes online for rate setting. By the way, they are also discussing later today, after your show, a discussion of a low payment option for people with lesser means as it relates to tolls. That one I do believe they're going to take some action on, so there might be some relief there too. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. We're on top of it.
I have no interest in lower payments, just no payments, just HOV. No, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous.
Federal assistance or state assistance for the toll fees?
Yeah.
Golly.
Kind of just like we have on.
So I get to pay for trips I don't take.
Right.
This is
just
great.
kind of like subsidizing mass transit or things like that we have for lower income folks there too.
Yeah. Chris Sullivan, thanks for coming in.
I'm nothing
Check him
but
out
good
on
news,
Minor
right?
Oh, you're just like Santa Claus.
You're a fountain
We love
of
it.
fun.
Yeah. All right, check him out on My Northwest. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around.
KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Renton police investigating a shooting that happened just after midnight.
Engaging conversation.
It's just indefensible. The mayor's communications team should be better.
Traffic.
A full closure now, southbound 509 at Alexander Avenue.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO News Radio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Hey, Spike O'Neill here for Ageless Living. Recently, my aunt had surgery, and she was home the next day. But we weren't sure if we were ready or equipped as a family to provide the kind of care that she needed. So we called the folks at Ageless Living and asked about respite care. Respite care is short-term stays, 2 days, 2 weeks. They provide 24/7 expert care, the Ageless Living amenities, and the community, and the peace of mind for our family that we knew she was getting the care she deserved. Go to agelessliving.com/spike and schedule a visit today. Could be whether a much-needed break for a caregiver or a chance for your family to see and taste what Ageless Living really looks like. That's agelessliving.com/spike.
Spring is a season homeowners start improving their homes. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. If your home needs roofing, siding, new windows, gutters, or decking, our team can take care of it all. For a limited time, save up to $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows project. Planning multiple upgrades? Combine your projects and save even more. Or with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. You can start your project now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Stop living with missing teeth. You may qualify for full mouth implants at a reduced cost using your medical insurance. Call South Seattle Smiles today at 206-241-5533 to see if you're a candidate. SouthSeattleSmiles.com.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
When you're hiring, Have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Digging in my yard, trying to lay a pipe. I hit a water line and now I have to pay a big fine. I should have called 811.
Welcome back to the show. A lot of text messages. Let's dive right in. Thank you guys so much. Go for it, Laura.
On Jake's idea to fix sound transit with autonomous buses, Dean on the east side says pull up the tracks, leave the structure, and turn it into an electric bike/scooter path.
Interesting.
So that's what they do with the Burke Gilman.
That's true. That's
They're
right.
doing half the roads downtown.
You know what? Dean is right, though. A lot of the hikes that we go on as a family, because they're generally like pretty flat.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of climbing in our hikes. We do walk. I guess it's called a walk.
Sure.
It's like old train tracks. Like you go out in Issaquah or any of those areas. It's old train tracks that have now been converted to walking paths.
Fernando in Seattle says, really good idea, Jake. Really, really good idea. However, the powers that be will never let it happen. It's just got too much comments.
Ugh. Aaron in Auburn says, careful, guys. Autonomous bus drivers and autonomous truck drivers turn into autonomous radio hosts.
Ha, ha, ha.
And then the Terminator gets us all.
Ha, ha, ha.
Well, Aaron, you might be right. Maybe we should just...
Like you'll blend right in.
Ha, ha, ha.
206
I use
says...
AS, artificial stupidity.
Oh, yeah.
No replacement.
206 says, how about we just eliminate sound transit altogether and go back to working from home? That seemed to be the least expensive and most productive when it comes to eliminating traffic. It's got my vote.
I think this is a suggestion made in jest. Obviously, we don't want to all be at home.
No.
Businesses need people to leave their house.
Right?
Human beings
I would
need
hate
to leave.
have my cat on my lap all day during the show. That's my worst case scenario.
Anybody selling lunches wants people in the office. Trust me.
People need to leave the house. It's just better for you.
Kara, the cleaning lady, says, hashtag Jake for governor.
Oh, boy. That sounds like a headache. That is a headache. Just do the train idea and I'll be happy.
There you go.
Just do the train idea.
This is your gift to them.
I'm getting a lot of pushback from people on X. They do not like the train idea. A lot of people that
electric buses?
I posted this on my @Jake Skorheim on X, and a lot of people are saying it's never possible. Autonomous vehicles don't work. Yada, yada.
We are in the infancy stage of this. They're coming.
They're literally, I drive by Waze vehicles, tracking everything all the time. I'm constantly driving behind something with cameras. It looks like a bug. So they're coming. Now, when it's, again, this is a little future casting.
Sure. Yeah.
But so is light rail.
Yeah.
Light rail's not supposed to be here for decades. So I think it's fair that we all future cast a little bit. All right, SROs in schools. John in 360 says, I was a local SRO for 6 years, Having an officer in schools is a major benefit, but the greatest advantage is that the staff and students know exactly which officer will respond. Ideally, one who has already built strong relationships with the students, parents, and staff and can help guide kids towards positive choices. Without an SRO, staff simply call 911, and if a response comes, it's an officer unfamiliar with the school and less eager to handle a school-related call because they can be difficult. I'd bet your SRO tomorrow would agree. And again, we're going to have the SRO in Bothell, who's being removed from the school for no reason that he had anything to do with, other than the school board said, we don't think the community really wants him here. It's not good for the community. And the community's like, no, we want him here. Please keep him. But Officer Ware will be on with us tomorrow.
Rick from Bothell says, back in 75, when I was a high school freshman, a guy we all knew brought a shotgun into the school admin wing. Really mad at someone who was coming towards my friend and I. We were not the subjects of his ire. A teacher quickly acted to defuse the situation, calmed the student down, and restored the peace. The point is, teachers should not be expected to do such acts. Without the SROs, it is all on the teachers.
On Jake's near miss with a drunk driver, Kathy Miriam says, you can't take your eyes off can't take your eyes off the road. Number one, I had a bark lounger fly off a pickup that was hidden behind a car in front of me. A friend's father canoe flies off the top of a car. A car transport trailer with a pickup on it disconnected, and the whole thing backed up against those concrete dividers until it stopped. My grandfather knows she's going to hear, watch out for flying bark loungers at some point during your driving career.
My granddaughter knows.
Yeah.
Kathy, remind me not to follow you on the road. Kathy sounds like she's got horrible luck on the road.
You need to be one car ahead of Kathy.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. On higher toll lanes, 425 says, if you're going to make the carpool number 2 or 3 people, rule out having children as passengers. They have to be adults. So basically just people who would take up.
If you're not taking a car off the road, you're not a carpool. I've often thought that.
I understand the argument. I disagree.
You're benefiting from it right now.
Yeah.
Does one kid have to be not yours at least?
No, I think I think it's fair carpool with kids.
Okay.
It's unrealistic for an officer to have to pull over every single car with people to make sure that they are of driver age.
Are those your?
It's unrealistic. So kids count.
On the Mariners fan who got
Thank
hit.
you.
There we go. We had the same thought.
Yeah.
On the Mariners fan who got hit in the head with a foul ball, John in Lake Tap says, pretty sad she declined the CT scan because of our awesome world-class medical availability.
425 says, analyze that recording and tell me what she was saying right before the ball hits her. No, we know what she was saying.
I analyzed it and I bleeped it.
Yeah.
You can find it on Instagram.
It's everywhere on the net. You can
she
easily
was cursing
see.
before the ball hit her?
Oh yeah. It was a party.
There's a lot of irony in this video here. All right, Russell says, she said she looked away for a second, more like 15, says Russell, but she knew that she should have been paying attention to the game. The negative comments are completely uncalled for.
Amen.
Yeah, totally agree.
Right there.
All right, thank you guys so much for hanging with us today. John Curley's coming up next. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more.
24% of businesses are now thinking about leaving Washington.
Traffic.
We are definitely seeing some slowing through the S-curves.
Conversation.
We build it, we produce it, we charge for it.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
A one-hander! Are you kidding me?
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
You know what you can trust? The protection you get when you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive. You know what you can't trust? Everything else, apparently. Like when you saw that article that said that thing you eat every day is a superfood and great for your gut health. But then 30 seconds later, a different article warns you to avoid it and it's taking years off your life. Well, which is it? Kind of a big difference there. Anyway, bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive for reliable coverage in a reliably unreliable world. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill. What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Washington is helping men take control of their health with a free, comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value included when starting treatment. Your panel checks key health markers, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidneys, liver, and thyroid, so you can finally understand what your body's been trying to tell you. Since 2011, over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Get answers, get a plan, and start feeling better. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free, comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a U.S.-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.